is the Big O Show. This 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 is the Big O Show.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchased with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Enjoy Miami in speed and style. Only on Thriller Miami Speedboat Adventures. Take advantage of special September Florida residence rate. Monday through Friday, you can book a tour on the biggest, baddest speedboat tour at 50% off. Must show Florida ID in order to get the discount. Tour special only available during September. Call 305-373-7001. That's 305-373-7001 to reserve your tickets on Thriller Miami Speedboat Adventures. When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchased with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Have you viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Welcome aboard on a beautiful Friday. Yes, sir. We are ready to rock and roll for a couple of hours. We've got plenty of things to talk about on a October 1st, and thank you all out there. Appreciate already all the birthday wishes. Yes, today is the day where we get a day older, or a year older, that is. We are 55 today, so we are very blessed to be able to see another day, another year, and hopefully we'll have a few more to go and we can hang around here for a little while longer. So appreciate all of you out there with all the birthday wishes on all the social media platforms, or sending me a text or anything along those lines, or the DM and all that good stuff. So I appreciate all of you out there on a beautiful Friday. So it's nice to have the birthday. Not that I don't do anything really anymore for my birthday or anything like that. It's just another day, and you just move on and all that. My wife is like, "Oh, happy birthday," and all that, and I'm like, whatever, it's another day. I'm blessed. Whatever. We'll do something probably tomorrow. I think I'm going to go to a concert tomorrow with the wife. I'll be in West Palm Beach actually tomorrow, hanging out with the wife in the evening. So if you any of you out there are going to be at what's the name of that place? Something Cafe or something like that is where I'll be at 8 o'clock. What the hell is the name of that place that I'll be at tomorrow? Oh, Lordy, what is it? See, 55, and you can't even remember where the hell you're going to be tomorrow. Respectable Street. I'll be at tomorrow. I'll be there at 518 Clematis Street in West Palm Beach. I'll be there. I'll go see the Ocean Blue, actually. So I'll be having a little fun tomorrow night with the wife and hanging out. So appreciate all of you out there. As always, I was looking over being it my birthday today. I looked at some of the birthdays that are coming up for musicians, and it's actually a pretty cool list in October of rock stars celebrating birthdays in this month. And obviously, I'm not a rock star, but as you all know, I do love my music. Jim Root from Slipknot tomorrow will celebrate a birthday. Stevie Ray Vaughan was born on October 3rd, 1954. He would have been 67 in a couple of days. Tommy Lee will turn 60 in 3 days. How about that? So Tommy Lee, the drummer, born on October 3rd for Motley Crue. Gwen Stefani, some of the finest legs in the business. She is born October 3rd, 1969. The No Doubt singer. I don't like her solo stuff. It's cheesy pop crap, but I love No Doubt. Oh man, I love No Doubt. LaJean Witherspoon, which in the montage that we play, if you look at the gentleman with the dreads that I'm standing next to, that's LaJean Witherspoon. He is the lead singer for Seven Dust. And I met him at Rockville. So it's in the montage there. He's born on October 3rd, the lead singer for Seven Dust. Herman Lee from Dragon Force, the guitarist, born on October 3rd. Let's see. Josh Klinghoffer from Red Hot Chili Peppers, born on October 3rd. He'll be 42. Like, October 3rd is a monster date. Brian Johnson from AC/DC, born on the 5th. He'll be 74. Fast Eddie Clark, rest in peace. Motorhead guitarist. He would have been 71 this month on October 5th. Let's see what else. Tico Torres. Somebody tells me that I've been told that Tico Torres lives down here, the drummer for Bon Jovi. Born in 53 on October 7th. He'll be 69 this year. Tom York from Radiohead will be 54 this year on October 7th. Johnny Ramone, unfortunately no longer with us, was born on October 8th of 1948. He would have been 73 this month. Let me see who else. David Lee Roth, born on October 10th of 54. He'll be 68 this month. Let's see who else. Oh, my girl, Lizzie Hale. Love Lizzie Hale, man. I love Hailstorm. She was born on October 10th of 83. She'll be very young, 39 this year. Jeff Keith may have one of the best attitudes I've ever seen on stage. Every time I see him, he's the lead singer of Tesla, always has a big old smile on his face. You can tell he loves what he does. And he, by the way, was born on October 12th. He'll be 64 this year. Sammy Hagar will be 75 this year on October 14th. My boy Joey Belladonna that we were talking about the other day, the Anthrax singer, was born October 13th. He'll be 62. AJ Pero, rest in peace, sir. He passed away, I believe, on a cruise ship on one of those rock cruises. Twisted Sisters drummer. He was born October 14th of this month in 1959. He would have been 63 this month. Flea, who is just one of the best bassists out there, born October 16th of 62. He'll be 60 years old this month. Let's see who else is there. It's a pretty good list, man. Tom Petty, unfortunately no longer with us, was born October 20th. He would have been 72 this month. I saw him in Queens for the last time. He passed away like a couple months after that. I was very lucky to see Tom Petty several times. Let me see. Mountains guitarist and lead singer Leslie West was born in this month, October 22nd. No longer with us, of course, but he would have been 77 this year. Bobby Blotzer from Rat will be 64 this year, born on the 22nd of October. I mean, it's a pretty big list. Weird Al Yankovic was born October 23rd. He'll be 63. Robert Trujillo from Metallica will be 58 this month on October 23rd. I mean, it really is one hell of a list. John Anderson from Yes, born October 25th. He'll be 78 years old. The great Glenn Tipton from Judas Priest will be 75 on October 25th. Matthias Jabs, another great guitarist from the Scorpions. He's born October 25th. He'll be 67. And the Scorpions, by the way, are taking out a new album in February. I just read that. In February. And they'll release their single sometime later on this month. They'll release it. Chad Smith, the drummer from Red Hot Chili Peppers, was born the 25th of this month. He'll be 61. I mean, Neil Fallon, one of the best frontmen right now in rock and roll. He's the lead singer and guitarist of Clutch. He's going to be 51 this month, October 26th. KK Downing, the former guitarist and original guitarist for Judas Priest, born October 27th. He'll be 71 this month. Scott Weiland, no longer with us. Unfortunately, the lead singer of STP, Stone Temple Pilots, by the way, if you don't know. He would have been 54 this month. He was born October 27th. It is Kevin Dubrow, no longer with us. Quiet Riot was born October 29th. He would have been 66 this month. It's crazy. Chris Slade, drummer for AC/DC, will be 75 this month, born October 30th. Gavin Rosdale from Bush, born this month. October 30th, he'll be 57. So it's a hell of a list. Mickey D, Motorhead, and now drummer for the Scorpions, will be 59. He was born on Halloween Day. Adam Horowitz from Beastie Boys will be 56 this year, born in 66 on October 31st. That is my date of birth. I got to the party. No, I did the Smurf. So there you go. Those are some of the some of the musicians that are born this month in October. One hell of a list, actually. I was going through. I was like, damn, dude. That's a hell of a list right there of artists born this month. There you go. Clutch, that's rock, says Andy Breakstone. Damn right. Clutch is, I'm telling you, Clutch is one of the better bands you can see live nowadays. They are absolutely phenomenal. I became a big fan of Clutch over the last few years. I've gotten completely into their music. They're so good. Emilio says, celebrated my birthday yesterday with a nice glass of Colonel E.H. Taylor single barrel. Tonight, I'll be having some Eagle Rare for you. Cheers. Much love on your B-Day. Big O felicidades. Un abrazo. Thank you, Emilio, and happy late birthday to you, sir. Appreciate all of you out there and all of you out there that are on the chat board. You know what I want for my birthday? I want you to hit that smash. I want you to smash the like button. That's all. That's it. That's all I ask. On my birthday, I want you all to smash the like button. That would be the best present. Look, I see 91 on the chat board. There's 26 likes. Come on. That's it. That's all I'm asking for my birthday is that you smash the like button. Okay? That's it. Smash it. That's all I need for my birthday. That'll be good. That'll get the algorithms going. That'll help out the show immensely. So it really helps out when you subscribe, when you smash the like button, when you share the link with people. All of those things are absolutely enormous. And, for my birthday, I would imagine that the Dolphins are going to win on Sunday, right? I mean, this is my birthday. I'm going to stretch it out for the weekend. Not that I really celebrate my birthday much anymore because, my wife knows, like, I don't care. It's just another day, whatever. But it would be a nice celebration to win on Sunday. That's all I'm asking. Just get to 2-2 because I know you'll beat the Jags. And then you'll be, 3-3. And then maybe we can get things back on track again. And we can get people, not panicking so much and want to fire everybody and all of that stuff. So let's do it. And Chase says, LOL, you're a cheap date. Yeah, bro. Super cheap. All I need is for you to smash that like button. That's it. That's all I want for my birthday. You smash the like button, and that is just a beautiful gift that you could give me. That's all. Pretty simple. All of us on the chat board pitched in and got you a Dolphin win on Sunday for your birthday. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you as always, Steve, and your loyalty and your dedication. And every day you're on the board, pretty much number one. So thank you, sir. I appreciate you all out there always. And I know you're also smashing the like button, which is important. Alex Diaz says, I saw you got my B-Day wish on Twitter. And, of course, a Fins win for your B-Day Sunday. That would be the perfect Sunday. A win against the Colts, and that completes my weekend. I'll go see a little Ocean Blue tomorrow. I'll have a good weekend overall. So hopefully everything will go as planned over the weekend, and we'll have some fun here. Speaking of music, they announced the Super Bowl halftime show, and it's a good one, man. Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar. And I love how, you got the classics in there, but you mixed in a guy like Kendrick Lamar to kind of go with the legends of Dre and Dogg and Eminem and Blige. Obviously, these are all, Hall of Famers, and Kendrick Lamar is a total young stud in the rap world nowadays. He's like one of the few guys that I actually like. Like I can listen to Kendrick, he's definitely one of those guys that because there's a lot of rap that's just absolute straight out garbage. Kendrick is good. So this is a nice Super Bowl halftime show. Obviously, it fills a certain niche that I think other people won't appreciate, but that happens when you bring on Paul McCartney and The Who and Kiss, and then you got people that don't like rock. You know what I'm saying? And if you bring on Britney Spears and you bring on other pop people, then there are going to be people that aren't going to be happy with it being so pop. You know what I'm saying? So, not everybody's always going to be satisfied, but I love the power that they brought with these names. I think this is going to be a lot of fun with all of these folks, and with Rock Nation involved in all of this. They won't go out and embarrass the situation by what was the name of the girl that did the middle finger, and then obviously I know the wardrobe malfunction, but that's another extreme. That's not the kind of stuff that's going to go on here. But the kind of was it MIA or something? Was that her name? I think it was that she did the middle finger stuff. See, I could guarantee you that they won't be doing that. Snoop's as corporate as it gets. Dre's as corporate as it gets. Eminem is corporate as it gets. So they get it. They understand it. So they won't cross the line in any way, shape, or form. They'll put together, I think, a hell of a performance. And because obviously Jay-Z and Rock Nation are involved in all of this and setting up these halftime shows, I think everything will be, carried out the right way. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I like this Super Bowl. But see, I'm a different cat. I like rock. I like some pop, right? I like all kinds of music. I like rap. Obviously, I'm more towards the 80s and 90s rap, I'll be honest. New rap, it's very few and far between the kind of rap that I like. There's just not a lot of it that I gravitate to, that I can say, okay, this is pretty good. But I pretty much bounce around all over the place. So I don't mind if you bring on Bruno Mars. You know what I mean? I enjoy Bruno Mars, so I don't care. I don't care if you want to bring on Dre and Dog and all these guys. I'm good with that. And I'm great if you bring on, Kiss and U2 and all that. So for me, I really never can lose. You know what I mean? Now, it all depends on how you do it too. Like the year that they had Bruno Mars, I love Bruno Mars. I mean, I've gone to see him in concert. I've watched plenty of stuff of him on YouTube, all the time, especially during the last 2 years. I've watched more YouTube in my life, like it's going out of style. I mean, I'm on YouTube every night, so I could be watching music almost every night, pretty much. But what pissed me off about that performance, it wasn't anything that had to do with Bruno. It was just you had the Red Hot Chili Peppers and you didn't use them much. And it was kind of an extreme. I don't know if the combo was really the right combo, but if you're going to have a great group like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which, by the way, happy birthday to Flea at sometime this month. He'll be celebrating a birthday. I want more Chili Peppers, man. Not more than Bruno, but I wanted more than, I want to say it was like maybe 2 songs. It was like short. And it was mostly, and I get it, Bruno Mars is a mega star. I get it. He's probably one of the most complete entertainers. No, he is, now that Prince died, he is the most complete entertainer right now in music. And what I mean by that is he sings, he dances, he writes his music, and he plays instruments. Not instruments. Okay? So this kid's like nobody like Prince. Although, wait a minute. You know what? I shouldn't say that. Well, no, he can't dance. It's because Bruce, the boss, can do it all also. The boss plays 800 instruments, writes it all, sings, all that, but he doesn't dance. So I got to give Bruno the whole complete thing. There aren't too many of those kind of cats that can write their own music, that can play the music, that can sing, that can dance. I mean, Timberlake is good, but I don't know about Timberlake with instruments. I have not seen him a lot on instruments, where I've seen Bruno play all kinds of instruments. That's the difference there. But it depends on how you balance it. What I like about this is it's all the same genre of music, so they're probably going to share a lot, and probably do a song where they're all kind of, contributing, which, by the way, I love what they did the other day on the award show when they did what's it called? Bismarck Key song, and everybody sung it, and then they had, their own versions, and they stuck in some other, lyrics in it and all that. I thought that was actually absolutely fantastic how everybody got into that. That was a lot of fun to watch that. So good halftime show. And I like that you're not going to do two different extremes like they did with the Chili Peppers and Mars. So you don't have to balance it out or an imbalance that kind of makes it unfair, which is what you had that day. That I love Bruno, but I wanted a little more peppers, man. I needed a little more spice inside that halftime show back in the day. All right. Anyway, so plenty of ways to contribute to the program. 855-912-1056. If you want to get in on the text line, 855-912-1056. Of course, YouTube chat board, please smash it. That's the only birthday present I'm asking you for. Please smash the like button. Yahoo email, Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com, Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. And of course, Cash App and Venmo, Cash Big O Show. If you want to make a donation to the show, that's the best way. Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show, because we get 100% of it. You want to do it on the Super Chat? Not a problem. We appreciate it also, but we only get 70%. Because damn YouTube takes 30% of it, like they don't make enough already as it is. But anyway, so many ways to contribute to the program. Appreciate all of you out there, as always. Stephen Caparella says, Cab Calloway is the greatest entertainer that ever lived. Know your history, people. Minnie the Moocher. All right. Last night was it's just an extension of everything that's gone on. It's when you're a bad team, when you're a bad program, these are the things that are going to happen to you because you're poorly prepared. Look, Virginia's a terrible team. They were one of the worst defenses in all of college football, and they made you look silly. Would they have like 90-something yards at halftime against one of the worst defenses in all of college football, which shows you, that Red Lashley is as overrated as it gets. Really, let's be honest now. And this is a program that isn't improving. Dude, that was just bad luck. He's a good kicker. Kid's got a boatload of talent. But these are the things that happen to you when you're a bad program. And when I saw that thump and he misses it, and I tweeted out that it's really tough to watch this downward spiral of a program, because we're talking about a program that was, marquee, a program that was considered one of the elite football programs in the country. And yet it's been destroyed. Everything that you used to recognize the University of Miami for is gone. There's no intimidation. There is no excellence on the field. Elite players aren't playing and dominating. We're used to watching Michael Irving dominate. We're used to watching Jerome Brown just completely change the landscape of a game. We're used to watching Ray Lewis explosive from one sideline to another. Edgerrin James electrifying the field. These are the things that we grew up watching with the University of Miami. A 2001 team that was so loaded that it was really a 33rd NFL team, basically. And we're so used to watching excellence on the field and players and teams that were so good that they can make 5 or 6 mistakes and still beat your ass by 30. Those days are all gone. They're done. And I'll get eventually to the ridiculous release by Julio Frank, which said absolutely nothing. But I'll get to that. But the painful part is that there isn't that dedication to it. And when you watch Manny Diaz on the sidelines, you can tell that all of this is getting to him. He is uncomfortable being in this position. I got to tell you something. He looks like a terrible communicator. I don't know exactly how it is behind the curtain, to be honest with you. But when I watch him out there, I see a man that is full of panic inside, that the moment is too big for him, that it's eating him up inside. You can tell he is not comfortable with this. You can tell he is not confident about what he's doing. I mean, it explodes in my face what I see from Manny. I mean, it's clear as day. It's like he doesn't even have to communicate it to me. He doesn't have to tell me. I see it. I see it. That dude he is a fish out of water. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like you hired a guy that brings a lot of the rah-rah stuff, but because the substance isn't there, the confidence isn't there. And when you look at the team week in and week out, they're unprepared. They're just they never really look like they know exactly what they're supposed to do. And look, I can deal with mistakes because they're kids. But like I told you before, the difference between this kind of a you and the you used to watch is the you used to watch was so good, they actually could make mistakes and overcome them easily, and beat your ass down. You know, we're going to talk to Ira Winderman in a couple of minutes. And Ira had the pleasure of covering the big three, who at times walked into games and they were lackadaisical. And they'd fall by 10, 15, 20 points. They'd fall behind. But they knew what the hell they were doing, so they would storm back and win those games a lot of times. And we would get frustrated, like, man, why do you guys do that to yourselves? But they were so good, they can overcome that. University of Miami football team used to be like that. They were so good, they could overcome mistakes. This program now, over the last 15 years, can't overcome mistakes. In fact, they get buried by them. That's the difference, because they're not well coached, because they're not well prepared, because they're not good enough, because they don't have enough great players on those teams. That's the sad part. And that's part of this downward spiral that we've watched. The quality of coaching has gone down drastically. The quality of player has gone down drastically. The quality of depth has completely disappeared. And when you have that combination, it's just impossible to ever be what you used to be. And this is what you are now. You're kind of a middle of the road team. You know, here's how we have to look at the University of Miami football program from now on. You got to hope they can win enough to just get to a bowl game. Win the 7, 8 games. Maybe you get to 9, and that's like a great season now. Those days of 10 and 12 wins and trying to lock up the ACC and trying to, get to a national champion, those days are done. you're never going to be that program again because you're never going to make the commitment that you need in order to be that kind of a program again. So you're going to get the Randy Shannons of the world, and you're going to get the Al Goldens, and you're going to get the Manny Diaz's of the world. The people that aren't prepared for these kind of moments. The people that are not really prepared to take you to that next level. Unlike Ira Winderman, who is always ready to take you to the next level. So we are going to get into a little Miami Heat. We do that next.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA Report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All righty, there he is. And the myth legend. Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heat. Ira, how you doing, my friend? You doing all good?
I'm doing good. I'm outside with the arena, so if this cuts out or it doesn't work perfectly, let me know. I'll switch to the phone, text me, give me the high sign here, but I'll try to make it work. I got a scrimmage today, the only scrimmage the media is allowed in during training camp, so I'm looking forward to that to see how things get out. And I think like everyone in South Florida, people can't wait for the NBA and the NHL to start because we need some sort of relief. Hopefully this season the Heat can deliver that kind of relief.
Yeah, I think this is the best year because they just get older after this. But this is the year where I think you can make an impact. And if Kyrie's going to do the stupid things that he's going to do, and Ira, I'm just wondering when you see the whole thing with Shaq, and I don't know if you saw, did you see the soundbite, the video with Shaq?
I'm not sure I have seen the one you're referring to, so fill me in.
Okay, well, Shaq kind of let Kyrie have it.
I try not to be a little on another man's opinion. However, let me tell you what I think. This game of ours, sometimes you have to think about other people rather than yourself. Now, Kyrie has his views, he has his opinions. I'm not going to knock that. But he does have an obligation because he took that $200 million.
Right.
Only thing I don't like is, can you respect my privacy? Once you sign up for this life, there is no privacy. And you have to accept it. But if you're on my team and you can't play home games, I don't want you around. Like, we have a chance to win. And if you ain't on the program, go somewhere else. Period. Hey, whatever your reasons are, cool with that, but we ain't gonna be going back and forth for 41 games when we're gonna play now. Get your ass out there. I try not to belittle another man.
So, your thoughts on that?
I agree with him, and I agree with everyone who says you signed up for this life, which is a unique life, and you've agreed to make concessions in this life. You leave your family for a weekend. You work this compact schedule now. It's a pandemic. Life has changed. Look, I understand. And if you're an objector, that's fine. You forego your salary. You say, hey, and you know this from the NFL. Do you remember how NFL players were allowed to bypass the season? They just had to let you know in advance. Albert Wilson for the Dolphins, among others. And I have a wish with that. But you can't do it to me on the eve of the season. You can't do it to me on the eve of the season when you're my point guard or you're my starting guard or you're Andrew Wiggins or you're Bradley Beal or you're Dre Burke and I'm counting on you. So it would have been one thing when you go to the GM's office where Kyrie Irving goes to Sean Marks and a month ago says, you know what? I don't feel comfortable in this situation. I'm going to be sitting out the season. Fine. Sean Marks says, you know what?
Oh, he froze.
Go to instead. I don't know if I broke up there, but to me, that's a case of you agree that you're going to tell someone ahead of time what you're going to do. But Big O, we're on the eve of camp. The Heat's first exhibition game is Monday. These need to know what they are and who they are.
Right. No, I'm with you, and that's why when I look at this Heat team, this is now if Kyrie's going to stick to his guns here. I mean, listen, it's hard to even count on him to stay in one piece for an entire season as it is. But if he's going to give up those home games, then the Nets pretty much aren't going to be able to win a title. That's for sure, because it was kind of proven with two of them, they're not the same team than they are when all three of them are playing. And this ends up opening up an opportunity for the Miami Heat and this is going to cause a major problem on that team also, because eventually guys are going to be pissed off about this. They're not going to be happy with a guy that's going to take half the season off. And they all got together for one reason, and this guy's bailing out on the reason why they got together.
And yet they go, I would honestly say this also. Let's look at that Nets roster. A team that has James Harden and Kevin Durant and everyone else, I think you could look at a situation where maybe you go in the direction and say they're still good enough with the talent that they have. So, you know what? I'm going to switch over to phone line now. I think that's probably preferable based on the Wi-Fi here at the arena. So I'll be right back in just a second.
Yes, let's do that. Let's get Ira on the phone, and we'll do it that way instead. And we'll overall be able to what's it called? Talk a little bit about this situation here. There we go, Ira.
You know what? You don't get my pretty face, but at least you're going to get more of my bad opinions and my bad takes.
We love you. We love you. We love you. And just to kind of go back on this last point, that
sure.
Obviously this is something that if Miami can take advantage of here, if this is really going to happen for obviously for Kyrie and Wiggins to a lesser extent, that's going to affect them too. But if this is going to be their stance, I wonder, will the NBA do something extra on top of everything else?
And they won't, because there's a salary being lost, because any person has the right to make a decision like this if they want something injected to their body, right or wrong. That's just part of it. Big O, these are unusual times. There is no collective bargaining agreement in any sport that mentions in the middle of a pandemic where a vaccine is available. It's not written into the words, and all those documents are already in there. So they're in a position where everyone is sort of flying by the seat of their pants, and I get that. Matter of fact, I'm going to look at it a different way, Big O. If I'm the Warriors or I'm the Nets or the Wizards or the Mavericks or have a player who might not be able to play this season, I'm wondering if they should be given some sort of salary cap relief or salary cap exception. In other words, if the Nets have to go without Kyrie Irving because of his choice, should their fan base and their players and the rest of the guys who are part of the union be penalized, or should they get an exception so they can go out and sign a player, maybe a quality cut, maybe a Goran Dragic who gets a buyout? In other words, let's say the league, okay, you can have a mid-level exception, but Kyrie's ineligible for the season. All of a sudden, a Goran Dragic might say, you know what, I'll have a small buyout from the Raptors, and I'll go win a championship with the Nets. So I think there's a part B to this equation, and I think it's how is the NBA or how will they legislate the teams in order to make things fairer for them. So I think that's the other part of the equation also. As far as the players, you know what? You're going to lose the salary. It's a choice you make. It's a choice we all have. If you didn't like the conditions at your workplace or at mine, and I didn't come in today, yeah, my boss, whoever's in charge, has the right not to pay you, even in these unusual circumstances. But again, Big O, my whole thought is this. This should have been handled by the league in August. This should have been handled before training camp. We shouldn't be making up rules now this late in the game. That's just my thought.
No, I'm with you. The only thing is now you're killing me, Ira, because I had to deal with that shit with the Tampa Bay Lightning getting the break on their injured player,
yes.
And they were able to load up, and now you want to give the Nets another break too? No, you signed the knuckleheaded flake. You go down with the knuckleheaded flake.
And that's a good point. But what if you drafted or signed a Christian Scientist who just says, I don't accept this form of medicine. You knew when you signed me I was going to take a different training approach. You might have known that also. I'm looking for a competitive standpoint for a team, but I will say this. If you that cap exception, unlike what Tampa Bay did, I believe, with Kucherov and how they got into the playoffs and made life easier by going over the cap because it was just a playoff, then player X can't return at all in 2021. He can't return in the regular season. He can't return in the playoffs. So if you're going to do it that way, then you work it that way. Then you say, you know what? just like with Albert Wilson and the Dolphins and all the players, and Big O, you know this, there were a lot of players who bypassed last NFL season because they didn't feel comfortable. That's fine. We will see you in 2022, 23. God bless you. Maintain your health. Do what you think is right. Practice your religious, your moral, your medical principles. That's fine. And the train will now leave the station. It is this uncertainty. It is this players only playing in road games. That's not basketball. That's not the NBA. And just as I mentioned, no one saw the pandemic coming. No one saw it lasting this long. You have to be flexible. The rules are out the window. Make new rules, but make rules that make sense. That's my thought on that, Big O.
All right. Good stuff there as always. Ira, how is the first weeks of training camp going to be? What's different nowadays to, let's say, when I was on the beat and they would not touch the ball for the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's not just all that defensive drilling. It's really interesting. And people out there who don't know what Big O's talking about, it used to be you put the emphasis on defense, the offense will come. You know what, Big O? That was another era when you were covering it, when you were down here, where defense could still dominate. Where Pat Riley would say, I don't care if I have to bring this thing to a crawl and win 89-88. The league is not that way anymore. You damn better be able to score between 100 and 110 points a game, or else you're not going to be able to compete. So, yes, they are touching the ball. They are shooting the ball. They are scoring the ball. There's going to be a scrimmage today at 11 o'clock. That's why I had to jump on a little earlier with you today. Bad video to start this segment because I want to actually see how they play it. And that's my question. I'm not doubting the defense. Neither are you. They've got guys like Bam Adebayo and Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler, and PJ Tucker. They'll be fine defensively. I'm not so sure there's enough offense here, especially until Victor Oladipo comes back. So that's what Ira Winderman needs to see is how are they going to score the ball. I hope to see it a little today. I'm curious if they run PJ Tucker with starters, if there'll be enough offense in that group. Duncan Robinson's going to have to hit threes like crazy. It's a different time, O. It's all about this is the Big O offense when it comes to the Heat.
Well, and I want to see also what's it called? Tyler Hero, the buff Tyler Hero, rebounding, playing a little defense. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to see a little bit of that. Not only do I want to see him take that next step offensively, but we also need to see him take that next step defensively too.
Yeah, you know what? But even if he doesn't take it defensively, there's enough people in that situation, especially when Victor Oladipo comes back, where I can put my defensive lineup when I'm trying to nurse an 8-point playoff lead with 8 minutes to go. Not as concerned about that. Oh, when you go through this roster, we can go through it together. There's 3 levels of scoring that you need in today's NBA. Get to the rim, hit the jumper, make the 3. Honestly, I'm not so sure the Heat have many, if any, players right now who fill that bill. I think the only one available now who can get to the rim, hit the jumper, hit the 3 is Tyler Hero. I think Victor Oladipo, which is why it's so essential that he can do it also. Jimmy doesn't hit the 3. Kyle doesn't get to the rim as much more. Bam doesn't hit the 3. Duncan is not a get to the rim off the dribble kind of guy. That's the thing. 3-level offensive players, it's all there for Tyler Hero. He's the one right now who can do it. And more than that, Big O, he's the one who has to do it.
Well, let's hope so, man. That's gonna. And now, when you look at windows, is this the best window for the Heat? When we look at these contracts, the ages, all of that, is this the ultimate season for this group right here?
Yeah, you're spot on, Big O. Because of the ages, because you have Kyle Lowry, who's already 35, because you have Tucker, who's 36, because you have Jimmy Butler and Markieff Morris in their 30s, it's not going to get easier. It doesn't for any of us. I can attest to that. And the other point you made about the Brooklyn Nets not being as solid or who they are or having been together, that's still, to me, the team to beat. And even the Milwaukee Bucks, they lost P.J. Tucker. Can they deal with prosperity? Lord knows you were part of this, Big O, after 2006. The Heat sure as heck could not deal with prosperity after they won their first title. So this is the window. This is the Heat. You know what? Oh, one thing that even matter is maybe the Philadelphia 76ers being out of the way. That right now most people look at the teams at the top of the East are Brooklyn and are Milwaukee, and some are still saying Philadelphia. Well, if Ben Simmons gets traded for draft choices or something less, that might move them out of the way also. So, yeah, this is their window, not the regular season. Heat fans, don't panic if the Heat finish 4th or 5th in the East. It's all about the playoffs, and it's always all about the playoffs anyway.
All right, wrap it up with this. How does the Ben Simmons thing end? Because he says he's willing to hold out and lose out all that money, and obviously it seems like they can't reach him. So what happens here? Do they finally trade him? Do they capitulate and settle for less? Because they're certainly not going to get what they might think is his trade value.
Yeah, they're going to have to settle for pennies on the dollar. They'll refuse to do it early. I could see a Harden-like situation where 8, 9, 10, 12 games of the season, they hold on to him and hope. So they take the best possible offer. They wind up getting somewhat of an offensive upgrade, but give up a lot on defense. They'll be a different team, and I think it's going to be shaky. But I'm sure you'll mention this in your show, the way Joel Embiid called out Ben Simmons and said, "We rebuilt this team in your playing style. We got rid of Jimmy Butler because you wanted to be on the ball." I can't see any way that they can embrace a return by him. It's going to be awkward if he's on the roster on opening night. It's going to be awkward if he's in the lineup and playing with the players, which I don't see. So they have to make a move. Daryl Morey is going to try to shoot for the stars, try to get some sort of package. The difference is when he was in Houston and Harden was traded, they wanted draft choices. They wanted the future.
Right.
This is the Philadelphia team that has to win now because the process is in its 84th season. Now is go time in Philly. He really screwed up that team. I also think Doc Rivers screwed it up with his comments after the playoffs. He didn't have to be as direct. I think maybe it wasn't the right fit for Doc Rivers on that team. So, yeah, they're a mess. Again, it really is a case of the Heat having to seize the moment, seize the Kyrie moment, seize the Ben Simmons moment, seize the chronological of your moment. So, yeah, it's at hand. Last season, the Heat didn't win a single playoff game. This season, they darn well better win at least 8 playoff games because this is their chance to get to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, the Sixers can be proud of this. They're only second to the Miami Dolphins in the rebuilding process. So there you go. Ira, thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. Have a fantastic weekend and enjoy the scrimmage.
Hey, an old school radio telephone interview. Nothing like it. Thank you, Big O.
You got it,
Bye-bye.
baby. You be good. There you go. Gotta love it. Yeah, Ira Winderman. And our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report. There you go. Sometimes you got to adjust on the fly, man. That's just the way it is, and you got to do it this way. So it's all good. Let's see. Anthony Caprisi is saying, can you please block Blue Tie? Why? What did Blue Tie do? I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know what's going on the chat board. Okay. Manny Diaz 100% needs to go. Now, Miles P. Now, let me ask you. Look, I got off the Manny Diaz bandwagon after the first year. Okay. And I don't want to hear any of this. Oh, but you people shouldn't be negative with the program because it hurts the program. The program hurts itself. And that's my point. What do you think if you fire Manny Diaz? What do you think is going to get hired? What do you think is going to happen? Do you actually think that a good coach is coming? Do you actually think somebody's going to get you out of this rut and going to make you a challenger for the ACC and a national title all of a sudden? Is that what you think? You had Al Golden, and you had Randy Shannon. And Coker, towards the end, proved that he wasn't a custodian of a program. He can coach, but he can only coach what he had, what they left him. And he did very well. But once his players took over, the program was going to it's the same thing as Dennis Erickson. Dennis Erickson did a phenomenal job picking up where Jimmy left off with Jimmy's talent. So he won 2 titles in the first 3 years with Jimmy's talent. Once Dennis Erickson's players took over, the program went to shit. And they started getting thoroughly embarrassed at the end of the year in bowl games. So Dennis Erickson can coach, could not maintain. Coker could coach, but cannot maintain. Al Golden, Randy Shannon, And Diaz can't coach, can't maintain, can't develop. Huge problem. In college football, your coach must be able to recruit, must be able to develop, and must be able to maintain the program at a high level. That is incredibly hard. And if your coach cannot maintain those three levels of responsibilities, your university, your football program will fall by the wayside. So firing Manny Diaz, which, yes, he deserves to get fired. But I want you to know that another Manny Diaz is coming, and another Al Golden is coming, and another Randy Shannon is coming, because that's all they can afford. And if by chance you get a good young coach to come here, and he has like a Lane Kiffin, and he has a good season or two, you know what? He's not staying. He's leaving. He's going to go somewhere else where he can hire a top-notch offensive and defensive coordinator where everything is top-notch, and you're not going to get that here ever. It's never going to be that way, because the Joneses are always going to be way ahead of you, and you're always going to be playing catch-up. I heard a soundbite where Manny was talking about how, now we want to improve the dorms and this and that. And by the time you improve the dorms and you do that, then something else fell behind from everybody else and something else. You're never going to be ahead of the curve, ever, at the University of Miami. So you can have all this whole thing about, fire Manny, and you think that's the answer. That's only part of the answer. But the point is that the University of Miami does not want the solution. They're not willing to spend the money it takes for the solution. They do enough to just dress it up. They put lipstick on a pig. It's still a pig. They can dress it up all they want. They can add some lashes. You know how the girls nowadays have those long lashes now? You can get the pig and add some long lashes, put a little lipstick, put a bow. It's still a pig. Nothing's going to change. That's you have to get your mind wrapped around that. There is no true commitment to being a national champion. There is no true commitment to challenging Alabama and Ohio State and LSU and Georgia and Auburn and Oregon and any of these top-notch programs that spend a boatload of money. You are not going to spend $75 million like Texas A&M did on their coach on a 10-year deal. That's not going to happen. So stop it already. This is what you get. So all you're going to do is complain about the next guy, because the next guy is going to suck as much as this guy does, as much as Randy Shannon sucked, as much as Al Golden sucked. That's what you're going to get. But if you want to be satisfied with a firing, go ahead, dude. Doesn't really matter. Miles P says, so why is that? Where does the money go? Are you listening to me, dude? They don't care. Have you ever been on the campus, Miles P? I bet you've never even been on the University of Miami campus. Have you? Ever? You want to know where it goes? Go to the campus. You'll find out. It's a small city now. Medical program they are an academic institution. Get it through your head. That's what they are. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. That should be your priority. It's not football. Football's not the priority. They don't care. They can tell you whatever they want, but they don't care. They're not striving to be Alabama. And I can tell that Miles P has never been on the campus, actually. I can tell. You know what? Most of you that are fans, you've never been on the campus. You've never actually gone to see what they've done with that university and where they're going. And athletics is not the priority. They have it because it produces some money and they get a nice fat check from the ACC, from their television deal and all that. And that pays for their entire athletic program. And that's it. Did you see how empty that stadium was last night? And it's only going to get worse. Because eventually in this town, they're a pro team. And they've always been treated like a pro team. Have you ever been on that campus? Go look at the faces on that campus. It's a lot of people that aren't even from this country in that campus. Because most of the people that live in this town, like yours truly, can't afford to send their kids to the University of Miami. Okay? My daughter went to the University of Miami medical program on a scholarship. She's a graduate at FIU, but she also did some medical program at UM. But she did that. They gave her in the program, and they also gave her a dorm for a semester. I can't afford any of that. Luckily, my daughter has like a 5.1 GPA. Something stupid. I didn't even know it could go to 5. She's got a 5.1 something. Something ridiculous. My daughter got accepted to a medical program in Harvard. You know, I mean, it's just that's the only way. And I've been on the campus for many things. You guys, some of you really need to know, like, they don't have a student body that resembles anything like FIU and FAU. That's where our kids go. Most of us that live here in South Florida, we can afford FIU and FAU. Most of us cannot afford the University of Miami. It's a lot of rich kids that are coming from all parts of the world, not from South Florida. Most of us working stiffs in South Florida can send our kids to 2 fantastic universities in FIU and FAU. That's what we can afford. I mean, that's I think one of the problems of what's gone on with this university and its fan base. Most of its fan base never went to that school. Most of its fan base never has been on the campus. Most of its fan base doesn't really know about the school. They don't realize it. That's the strange part about the relationship that the University of Miami has with its fan base. That's why they're the 6th pro team in town. I'm sorry. Because we have MLS now too. So we have 6 pro teams in town, and UM is basically a pro team. Most of its fans never went to it. Never went to the school. Most of its fans never visited the school. Unless maybe they went to a baseball game, which very few of you go to a baseball game. I just think it's something that people don't understand. So you're poor, Big O. Well, I'm not poor, but I'm middle class, right? So you go to FIU and you go to FAU, you're poor? I didn't know that. Is that how it goes, Richard? Is that the way you understand it? I believe UM has the second smallest body in the ACC behind Wake Forest, and I too owe couldn't afford to go to the U. Neither did any of my siblings. Most of us can't afford to go to the U. Are you kidding me? Who the hell can afford to go to the U? You got to be super rich. If my daughter doesn't get a scholarship, there's no way I could ever afford that. You got to love people. So Richard McLean goes to the extreme of, so you're poor. So only poor people go to FAU and FIU. I tell you, like I said, most of the people that root for the U never went to the U, never understood the U, never have ever even been on the campus. There's no doubt. Bustamante says, Big O, you raised your daughter right, and you should be proud. She can go to Harvard. That's the hardest school and highest academic. I'm proud of my daughter, period. And she's worked her ass off. She's gonna kind of take a year off now, do light studies, and kind of take a year off, and then she's gonna go back heavy again next year. And I think she'll go next year to that Harvard thing in the summer. But yeah, it's crazy. I got accepted to the U. Then I saw the prices, and I was like, "Nah, I'm good. I'll find another way." No, the Mad Max there, dude. You're gonna owe them money to past your death. I don't blame you at all. But that's why I'm saying that just you some of you need to go on the campus. Seriously, like you need to go check out that place. Go look at the faces. There's a ton of them that aren't even Americans. Ton. I don't know what the percentage is. It's a big, giant percentage. Don't know exactly what it is, but it's a giant percentage of people that aren't even from this country. And they don't care about the athletics at all. There's an absolute disconnect from what the reality is. And fans of the University of Miami, this is probably the most disconnected fan base to a school in college football. You root on the colors and the logo and the players, but you are absolutely disconnected from the school. And I don't think there's a university in the country that has more of a fan base that's disconnected from its team, from its school, than the University of Miami. Guaranteed. Telling you. And whose fault is it? Okay, right, exactly. I'm with you there. Hour number 2 next.
Enjoy Miami in speed and style. Only on Thriller Miami Speedboat Adventures. Take advantage of special September Florida residence rate. Monday through Friday, you can book a tour on the biggest, baddest speedboat tour at 50% off. Must show Florida ID in order to get the discount. Tour special only available during September. Call 305-373-7001. That's 305-373-7001 to reserve your tickets on Thriller Miami Speedboat Adventures.
Dos. And by the way, thank you, Alex, for a little love on the super chat. He says, "Oh, you are definitely the GOAT of radio." And once again, HBD. That's right. Happy birthday. Thank you, sir. I sent you an article about how if the Dolphins get Watson, someone will lose their job. These kind of articles piss me off. I'll worry about that when it's actually real. And then we'll get to, the Watson stuff and all that. Josina Anderson, I will get to her tweets too in a little bit. She had some stuff to report also on the Watson case, so we'll get to that. But one thing at a time. I do want to talk a little bit about the comments from the president of the University of Miami, Julio Frank, And for those of you that don't know, he addressed the whole thing about what ESPN said. And so he wanted to put out a statement. And he said, to our University of Miami family and Hurricane fans everywhere, the University of Miami is an institution dedicated to the pursuit of excellence. Frank began his statement Thursday, a few hours before the kickoff of the Virginia game. As our football team gets ready to kick off conference play this evening, I want to make clear that the Board of Trustees and I, as president, recognize the essential part of our brand and reputation derived from athletics, and we are fully committed to building a champion caliber teams at the U. Notice how he just said champion caliber teams at the U. Earlier this week at the State of University Town Hall, I reiterated that our beloved U sits at the cross-section of the two sectors most disrupted by the pandemic: higher education and healthcare. Intercollegiate athletics, which is a key component of higher education for student athletes and fans alike, is undergoing similar disruption. Conversations about college sports tend to focus on the last game or even the last play. I can certainly empathize with the emotions of those moments. Yet, we must pay equally close attention to drivers of disruption and the ways lines are being blurred between amateur and professional sports by factors including NIL legislation, antitrust rulings, promotion of gambling, conference realignments, and a corrosive discourse that falsely portrays college athletics as a mean to exploit talented players instead of what it really is: an avenue to expand opportunities for young people through access to higher education. We can either be disrupted or we can play a role in strategically shaping the course of disruption. Notice how he puts more of all the stuff on the pandemic and all that stuff, which that's going on also at Alabama, and yet they're looking for ways to overcome and lead. Oregon, right? And they are one of the top teams in the country, correct? Right? It's all going for them too, and they're still super committed. Okay. When it comes to athletics, my job as president is to ensure that we are doing the latter. We can either be disrupted or we can play a role in strategically shaping the course of disruption, as with our academic and healthcare missions. Just want to repeat it. When it comes to athletics, my job as a president is to ensure we are doing the latter. To that end, I have decided to increase the involvement from my senior leadership team to chart a way forward. Rudy Fernandez, in his capacity as my chief of staff, Joe Echevarria, in his capacity as my senior advisor, will augment my own direct engagement with the athletic directors by facilitating seamless alignment between the Board of Trustees, my entire administration, and athletic departments. Frank went on to say he's proud of UM student athletes and at the same time recognize our duty to prepare student athletes for success in all spheres of life. He said he was grateful to our student athletes, athletic director, his team, and the entire Hurricane coaching staff for their dedication, and to our fans for unceasing passion and loyalty. We are one U in pursuit of winning on the field and in life. Go Canes. There is no commitment there that tells you we want to challenge Alabama. We want to be up there with Clemson. We want to challenge Ohio State and Oregon and every other team that's trying to win a national championship. We strive to be the best in football. There's none of that. The president in Alabama, the president at Texas A&M, the president at USC, even though they're failing and they can't find the person, they keep trying, and they're going to spend to try to get there. That's not the case here. This is all BS that they threw out there, but in the end, there wasn't the kind of words that is going to convince me that you're actually committed to winning. That you want to win a national championship as much as you want to be a top-notch academic institution. You spend the money on being a top-notch academic institution. There are buildings, medical buildings of the University of Miami going up all throughout South Florida. They just added a beautiful one right off the Palmetto. When I was a kid, I used to go to the round building in the Pepsi thing as a field trip once a year to see how they used to bottle Coke. And now it's a medical facility, an educational facility also, obviously. They're all over the place. They're making hand over fist, as they say. What is it? Of money. They're printing cash. They got a marine biology deal over there in the Keys, in Key Biscayne. You know, I mean, give me a break, dude. They are making money, a lot of money, tons of money. But they spend it where they care. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just trying to tell you that don't mistaken the two types of commitments. Okay? They weren't going to build a stadium, but they'll build buildings all over the place. They'll build a ton on their campus. I'm just saying. Let's be honest with yourself when you're looking at this situation. That's all I'm saying. Don't lie to yourselves and try to believe any of the BS they're spewing out there. And Julio Frank is doing a fantastic job for the university because that's what he's there to do. Is if they're going to be one of the best medical programs in the country or in the world, this is what they want to do. And there's nothing wrong with that. But let's not try to mistake in what type of commitment there really is. There's a whole different level of commitment to academics and to medicine compared to football. It's not even close. Okay? Football is a drop in the bucket compared to what they make and produce on the medical side. I would argue that they're when we talk about medicine, they probably produce more in a month than football does in 2 years. And by the way, by the looks of it, with the attendance, maybe 5 years, because they're not packing that stadium anymore. I remember the days of Charlie Tate, Pete Elliott, and Lou Saban before we got to Howard. I think we need to get a commitment from the administration to build a stadium on or near camp. Well, that's not going to happen, Rick. Again, have you been to Coral Gables? Do you know anything about Coral Gables, dude? First of all, they have no room on that campus. I don't know. Again, there's a lot of you out there that you're completely disconnected. You have no idea. Like, nobody would say that actually understands our town. And if you know Coral Gables, what property is available in Coral Gables to build a stadium? And by the way, do you know how expensive it is in Coral Gables? Rick, you got any attachment to South Florida, dude? Do you even live here? Have you ever been to Coral Gables? Jesus Christ, dude. They won't spend for a coach, but you think they're going to spend the hundreds of millions of dollars that it would take to buy a property in Coral Gables for a stadium? And do you think Coral Gables would allow the permits for a stadium? Dude, do you even know our town? This is my problem here with a lot of you. You don't know our effing town. Yeah, I love Danny Cannell. Danny Cannell said the same stupid ass shit. I almost fell off my chair when he said that. Well, they got to build it on campus. It's in Coral Gables, dude. What are you, nuts? It would take like an oil company to be able to afford a stadium. Like it would take like an Arab dude that's got like money, like just like he prints it for fun. I will purchase. It'll take Jamie Farr in Cannonball Run to just, for a lack of a more modern term, to just say, yeah, no, I can write a $500 billion check with no problem. This guy Rick wants to buy a property in Coral Gables for a stadium. And he also thinks Coral Gables would approve a stadium. That's even more funny. He has no idea the problems the basketball arena had just to add 2,000 extra seats. In fact, when they built the arena, they didn't allow them to put the seats on the slabs. It was hell for them to approve an arena that seats, 4,000 people? My man wants a full stadium in Coral Gables. Oh, man. See, that's the problem here. We have fans that have no effing clue, no connection to the university. They don't even know the town that they're in. They don't even know Coral Gables. Dude, you put your trash can in the wrong spot in Coral Gables, you get fined. Your trees are not trimmed, you'll get fined. Your roof is a little dirty, they might kick you out of the entire city. You have any idea what Coral Gables is? That's freaking hilarious. Yeah, how about a stadium on South Beach? Oh, Lordy. I love it. This is the problem with this university and its fan base. Most of you have no idea. You've never even been to the campus. You've never even been to Coral Gables. Like, who would say that? Yeah, no, we need to build a stadium in Coral Gables. I mean, it's just like, yeah. The other thing that I remember Cannell said at the same time, well, the students don't show up. It's like, dude, have you been on that campus? Most of those kids don't give a shit about football. They're probably watching cricket. Oh, man. Yeah. Hermit says, Big O Rick wants to build an airport in Coral Gables. Oh, James Burke says, you go, Big O boy. You don't hold back. That's why I love you. You are very smart and knowledgeable as far as sports. Very smart. You keep it up, my friend. Well, I'm just honest, man. I mean, it's like fans say some silly ass stuff that, like, I can tell that you really don't understand what the hell's going on. Like, most of those, half those students don't even live in this country. Half those students don't care about football. They'll never show up to a game. That university is an academic marvel. They are dominant in medicine. That's where their money, that's where their bread is buttered. And they know it. And all you have to do is look all over South Florida. They dominate. They're everywhere. There are University of Miami facilities everywhere. They print money. But that's where they want to be known as. They don't care. The football put them on the map. And then they got the baton and then took it to another level academically. And then they're happy with that, which there's nothing wrong with that. But I just want some of you to understand that they're comfortable with this. This is how the relationship is going to be. It's academics way ahead and athletics way behind. It's just enough to get by. That's all you're going to get. And that's it. Your sidewalk in front of your house is clean, or you get fined. No, I'm telling you, Coral Gables is not the place you want to. You don't want to live in Coral Gables and be a slob. If you are, you're not going to be very happy there. You're going to be paying a lot of fines. For people saying you must be poor if you can't afford to attend the U of Miami, tuition for undergrad is over $70K, which is probably more than the dude makes in a year. Yeah, I mean, there's most of us cannot afford to send our kids to the University of Miami. We just can't. Those are the facts, man. And by the way, while it's a great school, FIU and FAU are fantastic schools. Kids can get an awesome education at FAU and FIU. They provide everything and anything you need. And in the end, if you're going to be a great professional or employee or whatever it is, it doesn't matter what degree you have. It's up to you, the person that you are, and then you're going to develop into what you are, period. Okay? So if you're a great at science or medicine or law or whatever it is, psychology, and you study at any of these universities, it's up to you in the end on how good you're going to be in your career. So, to me, it's anybody that goes to FIU or FAU is going to get a marvelous education. And they are going to have every single opportunity that everybody else has to be successful. If you're a professional and you work hard and you're dedicated, everything will always work out for you pretty much. So to me, there is zero shame and there is no step down or nothing like that being at FIU or FAU. Those are phenomenal institutions. And I would be more than proud as a parent, as a child, to either have a son or daughter that graduated from there or be someone that graduated from there. Proud as hell, dude. Great schools. Phenomenal schools. If you've been on either campus, you've watched them grow from, being an older guy today, being 55 today, watching those campuses where they were 30 years ago to where they are now. I mean, great schools. So there's no shame. There's no looking at what kind of financial, situation you are or anything like that. You're going to get a great education in all those universities, whether it's Gables, whether it's FIU, whether it's FAU, fantastic place. Nova, there's a lot of really good places. Barry, we got a lot of really good schools here, man. So, you make it out to what it is, what it's going to be in the end. Same deal at UCal schools where most of the students are from foreign countries paying insane money to attend. Exactly. Yeah. Try building anything in Miami with those commissioners. How's that soccer stadium going, by the way? Oh, that'll get done. I'm not worried about the soccer stadium. Seriously. Are you worried about, do you really think that that's not going to get done? Come on, dude. It's Miami politics. Give me a break. And Moss is well connected there. It's like Huizinga and Broward. That's, Huizinga was the only one in Broward that could get that arena done and get only one because he had the juice. Moss is one of the only ones that's going to be able to get that thing done. He'll get it done. Moss has got bigger problems, believe it or not. It's over the next couple of years of trying to have success with the limitations that he got slapped with the fines. Those are his bigger issues. I have zero concern that the Mel Reese Golf course will end up becoming Miami Freedom Park. I have no doubt in my mind. I think they're going to do a marvelous job there, and they're going to build a beautiful facility, and they're going to create all kinds of jobs. It's going to be a real plus for the community when it's all said and done, because there are many things that are going to be built on that property, and there's going to be all kinds of work for people, which in the end, Moss is doing something beautiful there in being able to produce a lot of jobs, something you're not doing with that golf course right now as it is. So that to me is his bigger concerns are how to win over the next couple of years with the limitations. He's going to have to hit on some young players, my friend. That's his bigger problem right now, because as the team goes on a downward spiral You know what happens in this town. You will get nobody in your stands. That's the way it is. That's what's going on with the University of Miami football program. As a lot of you catch on and realize that this is what it's going to be. This is what it's been for 15 years. And you keep waiting for it to get better, and it's not going to get better. And now some of you are getting smart, and you're finally realizing it, and now you're not showing up. And it's going to be that those games are going to be a ghost town. And the recruits and all that, that transfer portal will be going the other way now this offseason. And don't get and for anybody that puts out there, oh well, we got to be supportive no matter what, and this and that, and it helps the recruiting. No, dude. No. You need to go change the ways, and if you can't change the ways, you're not going to change people. This ain't no rah-rah bullshit. This isn't some town that's stuck in the middle of the state where you're the only entertainment in town. The University of Miami football program is not the only entertainment in town. There's lots of things to do in South Florida. They're not going to go see a crappy basketball team, a crappy hockey team, a crappy soccer team, a crappy football team, a crappy baseball team. So if your team is crappy, don't expect people to show up. That's just the way it is in this town. That's the way it's always been. You must entertain and win. If you're not entertaining and you're not winning, you don't have to win a national title. You don't have to win a championship, but you have to prove that you're committed to trying to do that. And then in the process, as long as you entertain and win, then people will support you in this town. If you're not committed to winning, i.e. Marlins, you will end up being just casted aside. And that's what's going to happen to the University of Miami football program. I've already told you this, right? We're back to the late 70s. That's where we're at, dude. Cutesy little school, 7-8 wins. Oh my God, we won 9 and got to a decent bowl game. Awesome. That's going to be the pinnacle. Get used to it. By the way, on my birthday today, all right, all I'm asking is for you to smash that like button. That's it. That's the best present that you can give me is by smashing that like button right now. Okay? That's what we need. And by the way, we're less than 20 away from 6,000 subscribers. So help us get to 6,000 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button also. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. So that way, whenever we go live, a new segment is posted, you will find out about it. And you can come to the page and check it out. 90 Miles from Cuba says, I go to Scarlet's when our team sucks. Now, Scarlet's now. See, you go to Scarlet's, you go to Tootsie's, you go to Cheetah. Yeah, see, that's smart. You go hang out with the lovely ladies in those places. Maybe they can give you some tips, right? And, you kind of survive through it. There's nothing wrong with that. That's smart. Might as well see some beautiful curves while you're, trying to keep your mind off of a depressing game. Think about it. Last night, the football hits the field goal pole. It's down. But then you turn around and you just see a beautiful, curvaceous woman who's half naked. That right away gets your mind right off of that crappy-ass game. 90 Miles from Cuba does it. That's smart, man. That's incredibly smart. And thank you all out there for the birthday wishes. I appreciate you. Which safety was the worst, the Dolphins or the Hurricanes? I feel like I'm watching the same football on Saturdays and Sundays. Oh, man. No, you got to go with the Dolphins because it was just like a really stupid play by Brissett. The one with the Canes, it was a terrible offensive line. The offensive line they told us had all that experience. I laugh because, that the experience doesn't mean jack. If you weren't playing good, how do you expect to all of a sudden play good? It's like the people that convince themselves that Miami could beat Alabama. That's when you have too much time on your hands in the off season. This is the problem we have with 24-hour news cycles, and people just got to throw crap out there to fill it. Same thing that happened to some fans throughout the offseason. Somehow or another, you convinced yourself that Manny Diaz was the kind of coach that could beat Nick Saban. that Manny Diaz is the guy that his IQ, he can hang with Nick Saban. That his coaching could hang with Nick Saban. That his players could hang with Nick Saban. That his culture could match Nick Saban. How some of you convinced yourselves in an entire offseason. Do you know the kind of hype bullshit you must have believed from Manny over the offseason to think that they could actually even challenge Alabama, much less beat them? I mean, when I'm listening to that to start the season, and there are people that actually think they're going to win that game, like, what the hell are you thinking? What is going on through your mind? What kind of drugs are you taking? How much alcohol have you consumed? I made my buddy some money because it was like wasn't like a 21, 23 point spread or something like that. I told him they'll lose by 30. Go for it, bro. Lay it. This, by the way, I took Virginia yesterday in the 5.5. I took Michigan State. I didn't lay the points for Alabama because there was so many points, even though I thought they would lose by 30. And I told my buddy, "Nah, go ahead." I didn't make that bet, but it's like the easiest bet now, but those of you out there, I know Vegas is great, but don't make it sound like they're always right, because they've been wrong a lot now, especially with the University of Miami. Wrong big time. Miami doesn't deserve to be favored by any kind of points like that on anyone, pretty much. Except, of course, the Sisters of the Poor that they played 2 weeks ago. Yeah, if you play a high school team, yeah, of course, Miami's gonna rout a high school team. But that's about it. Ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. All right, we are awaiting Manny Navarro. He's going to join us any minute now, and we'll have some fun with Manny. And we'll talk about this situation with him, and we'll get his thoughts on the program and the comments from Julio Frank, and of course, we'll get his thoughts on the game yesterday. I did feel bad for Borregales, because that kid did not sleep last night. That kid's going through hell, and people are insensitive. And they're probably killing him on Twitter and all that. And, I really felt bad for the kid. I mean, I feel bad for all those kids because they're led by Manny Diaz. So that alone, like I said a couple weeks ago, when I'm watching Derek King kill himself for this team, he gave up his body and his eligibility to the wrong program. I'm sorry. I hate to be so dismissive of the UM program, but I feel Manny's so bad that I feel bad for Derek King even more. Sucks. All right, let's take a really, really quick break here. So we get Manny Navarro on right now.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop. If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. Time for Canes fans to get what they want. Information, insight, and perspective. It's the Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report with Manny Navarro, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Here's Big O and insider Manny Navarro.
All righty, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend that is Manny Navarro, and our Canes Wear Miami Hurricanes Report. Manny, how you doing, my friend? Good
hanging in there, bro. I mean, everybody's messaging me today, asking me what's going on, who's getting fired, what's happening. They want to know everything, and it's, tell them it's a zoo right now. What can I tell you?
I know it's a zoo, and I don't think anything's going to change. I don't think anybody's going to get fired when it's all said and done. I just, at this point, I don't see this university buying out his contract, and really what's going to replace him, Manny. And that's what I've been trying to tell fans, that you're just going to get another Manny Diaz and another Randy Shannon, another Al Golden. You're not going to get anybody that really is going to turn this thing around.
Yeah, I mean, I think number one, people need to understand that, to get somebody that's a really good coach, is somebody that's a proven head coach, you're going to have to fork over a ton of money. And at this point, you get rid of Manny Diaz now, you got to pay him $8 million to go away. So that's 8 out of your pocket already. Then if you want somebody who's already in a contract somewhere else, you got to pay them, right, to get out of that, to get out of that deal.
It'll be a lot more than the $4 million they paid to get Manny.
Right. And so I just think from a financial standpoint, again, does the university have the money? Sure. They can find ways to get the money. Do they want to do that? I don't think so. So, could they fire Manny right now and just put in an interim coach and wait till the offseason? Sure. I think so. I think there's a possibility of that. But again, landing the big fish, landing the guy who's going to come in here and make all the difference and push all the right buttons, I don't have any faith in that happening. And, and I think in a lot of ways too, we need to see what happens with the athletic director position. Do they make a change there? Is it the same guy who's going to end up making the next hire? That all remains to be seen. So, here's what I'll tell you. If you want to make it just about football, right, and you don't want to be drowning in this coach thing, the 4 best players last night on Miami's defense were freshmen, and I thought Tyler Van Dyke in the fourth quarter showed you something that he did in the first 3 quarters. He played a lot better. So, I think there are some encouraging players if you're looking at the future and you're saying, hey,
that was a sweet ass pass in the corner of the end zone, dude. That was
a dime, and I thought that the 3rd and 14 play where he hit Rambo coming out of the break was a perfectly thrown ball. Look, he's a freshman. That's the first time he played anybody for real. And, you're going to come out of the gate, you're going to overthrow guys. I mean, it happens to all of them. Trevor Lawrence didn't look great, and I'm not comparing this guy to Trevor Lawrence, but I'm just saying, even Trevor Lawrence's first game looked a little shaky. Yeah. So, to me, there's some positives as far as the youth is concerned. And if you don't want to worry about the coaching search and all that, you can talk about some of those guys, because I think there's some good players on this team. They're just all young guys.
Yeah, I know. But my problem is I still don't see improvement from enough players in the 3 years that he's been here. Right. I don't see enough organization. I just don't think they're ever prepared properly for every game. They're always making mistakes. They got away with a targeting one yesterday. They got lucky that they didn't get that call. And again, there's always a targeting play. You know what I mean? It's like, why is it that your team is so undisciplined all the time? That's my problem with Manny in the end. But again, I'm at a point where it doesn't really matter, because the next guy in line that you're going to hire is going to be the same kind of crap. And so to me, it's not going to change. And just out of curiosity, when you read through everything that Julio Frank said, it sounded to me like a lot of hot air, no real, bottom line commitment to football. It was still more about academics and shaping their overall future and all that other kind of crap.
It's a statement put out by a guy who was forced to make a statement, right? I think essentially that's how I read it. And I look at Julio Frank and I say, look, this isn't a bad guy. He's a guy who is just an academic. And you know what? A lot of school presidents are just academics, right? I mean, not all of these.
There's nothing wrong with that. Okay.
There's nothing wrong with
that.
They got
medical buildings all throughout South Florida. So they're doing something right, dude. Okay.
Right.
They're printing money, dude. Okay. Come on.
Yeah. And I look again, you can sit here and make comments like Herbstreit did and say, there has to be a common vision between the president and the athletic director and yada, yada, yada. That sounds great. The reality is the athletic directors are the key to all this. They're the guys who run the ship. They're the ones who fundraise for athletics. They're the ones who put everything together. And, the reality is Miami's facilities have been upgraded the last few years. It's not like they didn't do anything. So from that perspective, I agree. The problem is, how much do you put into your head coaches and how much money are you willing to spend on your head coaches? That's the issue here. Nothing else. That is
and coordinators. Right,
and coordinators. But my point is, it's how much do you spend on coaching? Okay. Right. And how much of a commitment do you make to that? Right. And in a lot of ways, they're right. A lot of the fundraising comes from private donors, right? Boosters who want the right head coach to come in here. How much money are those people willing to put, to hire the next head coach? There's guys down here who put a lot of money into this program to help get it to where it is now. But are they going to pay? Somebody going to go out there and pay an $8 million buyout for Manny Diaz? Somebody going to, when they don't know who the next head coach is going to be?
Right. And the track record of what you've hired is not good. So then that doesn't make you feel good about that. Let me ask you something, because obviously I'm watching it from afar, but Manny looks to me like a guy that's not comfortable at all with all the pressure and everything going on around him. He seems to me like a guy that's uncomfortable with all of this. Do you read the same thing? And then part two of that is, he doesn't seem to me like a good communicator also. I'm just wondering what have you been able to learn about those kind of things, about the communication? And do you see the same thing as a guy that I almost feel like he's a volcano inside, that it's kind of, rumbling, and he's really uncomfortable with all this failure around him?
That's a good question. I probably haven't given it enough thought, but just looking at his body language, ooh, I think he's getting more irritated with the questions, certainly, right? And the commentary. But I also think, in terms of his communication and whatnot and his awareness, I think, you can sit here and talk about whether or not he made the right decision there at the end of the game. I thought he should have gone for 6 and not just played the clock out. I'm one of those guys that, when you got the other team reeling and you're trailing, you go for the end zone. You don't just play conservative and leave it on the foot of your 18-year-old kicker. But he looked like a guy who was confident last night. He was smiling during that whole. I don't know if you caught him on TV or not when they showed him in those huddles.
Yeah, right. Yeah, especially at the end when they thought he probably thought somebody probably said something like, all right, and he just smiled at him like, yeah, we got this one, like we're all right. When they called the timeout is what you're saying. When Virginia called the timeout on that
with
first down,
37. Yep.
Right. That he turned to him, and you could tell that there was like a relief at that moment, that he felt like he had it. You know what I mean? I know I saw that, but I watched the guy throughout that game, and even before the game, and then it just seems to me like a guy that the pressure's getting to him. And then when I watch him interact with people, I don't know, man. It's just there's an Adam Gase feel to it. You know what I'm saying? It just I don't know, but and now that again, this is total. This is a guy from afar. I'm trying to read the body language. When he's pulling a guy aside, there was one moment where he pulled one of their players aside to tell him something. And that player didn't really focus in on his coach while he's talking to him. He kind of almost like, yeah, sure, coach. And he kind of dismissed him and kept going, in a way. And I'm just looking at a guy that I don't know. I wonder what kind of a communicator he is behind the scenes. Even when I see him come on with Joe, like when he comes on in the morning, he has no personality, bro. He doesn't know how to work. He doesn't know how to work an interview. You know what I mean? It's very very mechanical and very cold and stuff. And I don't know, maybe he doesn't have a relationship with Joe Rose. I don't know. But it just, everything that I see about him, I just kind of see uncomfortable. And I don't know if he really knows how to communicate with people to kind of get them trying to feel comfortable about him. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great question and observation on your part. I look, having dealt with him, having spoken to him, you know, one-on-one interviews, which I usually get once a year, as I've told you before. I feel like he's a guy who feels like he's got all the answers in his head. Okay, like this is the approach. This is what we need to do, and he always feels like he has the right answer. Whereas, you know, some guys, hey man, I made a bad decision there, right? Or hey man, I screwed up. He doesn't see it that way. I think he's a guy who's very just sort of stuck in his ways. And I wouldn't say he's stubborn in the sense where he won't fire a coach, because obviously he's done that, right? He's changed coordinators, he's done. But I think there's a lot of self-confidence in the sense that nothing you or I or anybody else says to him is going to affect him. He tries to be this unfazed, you know, well, I knew that, or you know, this is why I think this way. Like, he has all the answers. And I think that's what comes off is a guy who's, I don't want to say arrogant, but certainly he's got all the answers, right? Like, sometimes you got to be human. Like, you know, hey, you know what? I didn't think about that. Or, hey, I didn't, that's a good point. And I don't think he does that enough. I don't think there's enough sort of that interaction. And I don't know behind the scenes how that affects his coaches. I can tell you that the guys who left, none of them really had anything bad to say about him in terms of professionally how they worked with him. And I think, you know, the thing with Manny, more than anything, I see a guy who's just a nice guy to the players all the time. He's a player's sort of coach. And I don't know that he ever gets to the point where he intimidates any of them or makes them feel on edge. You know, like, hey, I'm really not going to play this week, you know, or I screwed up. Oh man, I'm not, you know, like, it's almost like, no, I got your back, buddy, you know? And sometimes players, you know, the way they react to that is they keep doing the same mistakes over and over again, right? Because they don't feel like they're letting anybody down. I think in that regard, from a psychological standpoint, I think that might be his biggest mistake is sometimes guys don't need a pat in the back. Hey, get them next time. They need somebody more forceful who's going to scare something into them, you know, and make them really feel like, you know, hey, I'm going to get benched. I'm not going to play this week, or I'm not going to play going forward. You know, he's done that with a couple of guys here and there, but look, you look at the snap counts from last night. DJ Ivey played 50 snaps last night. Gervin Hall played 64. It's the same dudes out there.
Gervin Hall tackles when he's not supposed to and doesn't tackle when he's supposed to.
Right. I know
with Gervin Hall, bro.
Hey, the four best players on defense, according to Pro Football Focus, that played last night. I'm not talking about a handful of snaps, but they were part of the rotation. Cam Kitchens, number 1, freshman, 2021 recruit. Chance Williams, 2020 kid. Leonard Taylor played 21 snaps. He's 3rd, and then Corey Flagg, who had the pick on the good read where he stepped in front of the pass.
Yeah.
What does that tell you? None of the guys that he's been coaching, they haven't learned anything, bro. Like, they're just not getting better. They're going in reverse.
Wow. All right. So before I let you go, will he make the mistake of going to Tyler Van Dyke? And I say that because the kid in De'Aaron King has sold his body and his eligibility out to this team, and he's done everything he possibly can. And he helps you win, there's no doubt. But last night, obviously, Van Dyke showed you something. And I know you got to be worried about the future, and I know that De'Aaron is not the future. Right. But he has earned the right to finish the season at least. You know what I mean? But I'm just wondering if he will make the mistake. And I also wonder how much of the locker room will you lose because of the love that there is for De'Aaron King in that locker room. So I'm wondering, and I know you could be, as a coach, you could be torn about, well, do I turn the page and, you know, my season's pretty much shot now. Do I turn the page and work on the future? or do I let De'Aaron finish out the season when he does come back healthy, if he's ready to go against North Carolina in 2 weeks? What's your gut tell you?
My gut tells me that De'Aaron's injury is worse than they're letting on.
Oh, okay. So then the decision will be easy for him then.
I could see it being easy, yes. I mean, look, De'Aaron King's a good kid no matter what, right? He's there on the sideline. He's coaching up the kids. I mean, this isn't a kid who's all of a sudden just shut down, right? And been like, oh, I'm not going to be a part of this. He's tried to help.
He's a man. He's a man,
yeah.
bro. He's a man.
So, I've heard many different things that he could be out for the year, that this is an AC joint type deal. And I've also heard it could just be a pain tolerance thing. He was throwing passes last night when they first got to the field, but these weren't 15-yard outs, 20-yard outs. They weren't, this was like soft toss.
Right.
A guy in a sweater, lightly tossing the ball to his teammates. I don't know where he is. I know I've reached out to family and people around him to try to get the answer, to see how bad it really is. Manny, played it all week as if he could potentially play in this game. And then he said the same thing about Jake Garcia, and now Jake Garcia is out till November or whatever. So coaches are going to coach, right? They're going to do what they do.
Right.
I don't know. I don't know how bad it is. I would think that, if it's a pain tolerance thing, De'Aaron's going to come back.
Oh, yeah. Right.
But if it's more than that, if he just can't throw the ball the way that he wants to throw it, I could see the kid saying, hey, I'm not going to play Tyler. I could see him doing that. Like, he gives us the best chance to win. My arm isn't good enough yet. Even if Manny wanted to play him, So we'll see. We'll see what happens here the next 16 days. We'll see if any changes are made, who gets healthy, what happens. It's going to be wild, though. I certainly wasn't expecting to cover a season like this. That's for sure.
Yeah, it sucks, man. It sucks to see where they're at and where they're going, unfortunately. All right, what are you working on The Athletic, so Canes fans can check you out and read on the frustrations?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm going to be monitoring this Manny Diaz thing for the next couple of weeks. Like I said, I'm reaching out to different people, hearing different things. Bruce Feldman is as well. He's very tapped in to the UM program, obviously. And so he and I are sort of attacking this thing together. There's going to be stuff. I can't even, right off the top of my head, coming off of last night. I mean, I have stories that I want to work on, that I want to do, but I haven't dug my teeth into it. But I'll be busy nonetheless. I'll be cranking out more stuff. Yeah.
You always are. So, yeah, subscribe to The Athletic. Keep up with it. And by the way, props to you, because I see that Dolphin banner in the back, and you don't have the new logo. You have the classic logo. So
that's a 72 banner, by the way. That's a 72 season banner.
Kudos to you, sir, having the real logo, not that shit whale that they got on. Now I can't wait till they change that thing, dude. That is a terrible ass logo, man. We need to bring back. They got to bring back the old one, and I'm sure add a little of their own modern flair to it or whatever. But I think Garfinkel knows that he's got to bring back the old one. So eventually it'll come back. Manny, have a great weekend, my brother. Hang in there.
Thanks.
I know it's not easy to cover this stuff, man. I know people don't really understand that we'd rather cover winning. It's a lot more fun and a lot easier to cover people when they're winning. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Good moods,
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
I'm with you. All right, my brother. You be good. Thank you.
You too, man. Take care.
You got it. There you go. The great Manny Navarro.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5590. Caneswear, the spot where Inter Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
All right, we are back. We thank you all, as always, for joining us here on the program. Appreciate all of you out there, and support our great sponsors like Caneswear, like Pallet Rack City, of course. call my guy, Eddie Pereira. They will definitely take care of you. Listen, let me tell you something. First of all, let's get into a little bit of news. It looks like Michael Dieter is going on the IR now. So unfortunately, he's been dealing with I think it's a quad and a foot injury. So the young man actually has done a decent job at center. So it looks like Greg Manzik will be the backup. He is the guy that is now going to start. They probably will elevate Cameron Tom from the practice squad to the active squad. So Dieter now will be out for 3 weeks. Part of the issues that you got to deal with in the NFL, you're going to have injuries. So now we find out about Dieter, unfortunately, that he will not be in the mix. And the boys definitely got to win this week, man, against the Colts. Big time. I saw Josina Anderson. And for those of you that did not catch the texts or the tweets, that is, from Josina, first of all, let's go through the first one here. Let me see. Okay, here we go. She put, as reported yesterday, I am told depositions in the Deshaun Watson civil cases are scheduled to begin early next week per source in the criminal case investigations. The state has not yet indicated a date to present to the grand jury. Meanwhile, no new talks have evolved as of then. It could take up from 1 year to 2 for full adjudication in the Watson case, though anything can always happen at any time with potential settlement talks. At this point, an NFL owner has to decide to approve a trade without full clarity with actions, not words. Trading deadline is November 2nd. Now, as I show you this too, all right, and let me also pull up the other follow-up that she has to this. And here we go. Josina then added a second tweet, and this one says, to other players, it weighed in on action on because players wanted to play for their respective teams at the time. If or once Deshaun Watson is traded, his desire to play changes. What does the NFL do then compared to how it met responses in the past? Many considerations at play. I know there are going to be ongoing optics beyond considered by front office brass because I've heard them. The cases are sensitive. At the same time, a conclusion will eventually be reached. Watson is still 26, so an NFL owner must weigh the length of his future with his current circumstances. So, to kind of be clear here of all of this, it's going to be hard for you to trade for a guy that you don't know what's going to happen legally. That's one. Two, I still believe the NFL will then step in and say, no trade. There's no trade going on right now until we find out what's going on legally with him. And remember, you have your criminal and you have your civil issues. And this is not going to happen by November 2nd. It wasn't going, when Drew Rosenhaus thought it could happen within the first 2 weeks before, the last 2 weeks before the season started. Oh, yeah, no, he could be on the Dolphin roster. And, he has a law degree. And I knew they weren't going to be able to get through the legal issues in the 2 weeks leading up to the start of the season. Well, guess what? Today is October 1st. I happen to know that because I'm celebrating my 55th birthday today. Not really celebrating, but I kind of ran into my 55th birthday today. We have now 1 month and 1 day till the trading deadline. I can tell you with certainty that his legal issues will not be resolved by November 2nd. So I still have a hard time. The NFL has done nothing because nothing has been done. So they don't have to do anything. They don't have to butt in. But I think they will. Because do you know the egg on the league's face? And what team is going to trade for him and not know about the – what about if he's found guilty? And what about if he has to go to jail for a year or two? What about if he has to serve 6 months of jail and 5 years of probation? So now you've got a jailbird at quarterback who is under probation because he sexually assaulted women, and he's quarterbacking for your team. Can you imagine the PR nightmare that is? Listen, I get the Neanderthal way of thinking for some of you out there. You don't care what he did off the field. You don't care if he actually sexually assaulted women. You don't care what it means if you would actually trade for a player that has those charges, and you don't know if they're true, and you don't know if there's more evidence out there that we don't know of. We don't know if there's a video, pictures, incriminating text. We have no idea. You're going to put yourself in that position. I'm sorry. I can't comprehend it. I can't. It just doesn't make any sense. And is the league going to be that dumb to allow that to happen and put yourself in that position? I mean, they've been dumb in the past and they've been burned. I would imagine, Ray Rice, you've learned your lesson, and you don't want video coming up after you have suspended him for 2 games, and then people found out that he beat the woman and spit on her and dragged her out of an elevator like a sack of potatoes. And then how do you look? You mean you gave that thing a 2-game suspension? So to me, I find it to be an incredible waste of time. I get that some of you are so pissed and you can't stand Tua already at this point. You think he's a failure. You think he's an Oompa Loompa. You think his arm isn't strong enough. All those things, whatever you want to describe, and then you're out with the front office and the coach and all that. I get all of that. So you're so blinded by your dislike or hate or frustrations with Tua that you don't care what this guy's involved in. But in the big picture, I can't see it happening. I just can't. Doesn't make sense to me. Hour number 3, I'm sorry. Hour number 3 is next.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com.
All right, we are back. Appreciate all of you out there as always. Happy birthday, Big O, from Matthew Owen. Thank you. It's also my brother's B-Day today, and mine was yesterday. Have a great day. Well, happy late birthday to you, Matthew, and happy birthday to your brother, sir. Once the depositions start and the women start dealing with what happened, he is bleeped in the court of public opinion. He's already kind of bleeped in the court of public opinion. I mean, in my court of public opinion, I think the dude's got problems. Seriously. I think Deshaun Watson's a sick human being. I really do. I think he's got issues, because to be Deshaun Watson and to put yourself in that position, you've got problems, dude, because you've got to have more common sense than that to know who you are. Look, if it's just some regular guy that did this, okay, so he's looking to get his kicks, whatever. But you're Deshaun Watson. You're not smart enough to know that you're going to end up in trouble because of all of this. You got problems. I mean, and you got money and fame. You could have done it in ways that nobody finds out and nobody ever gets in trouble. We've talked about this. But the way you put yourself at risk, If I'm a team, I would be really concerned about that. I would not trust Deshaun Watson anymore, no matter what he tells me. I would use the old Mad Dog line. I wouldn't trust him if his tongue was notarized. That's what I would say. That's not a guy that I could trust in South Florida to stay straight and not be calling strange women again to, rub his ding-a-ling. And the other thing is, with that girlfriend, holy moly, dude. Like, seriously. Let's see. NFL hasn't done anything because the Texans are already doing the favor of making him inactive. Exactly. You are correct to extreme. The second Watson becomes active to play in the NFL, we'll step in and put him on the exempt list. I completely agree. The second they try to trade him, they'll say, no. There's no trades going on here. We have to wait till the legal issues are done. Then you can trade him. We need to know where he's at. You cannot be trading somebody that might be going to jail. No, can't do that. So I totally agree with you on that. Giovanni says, to a lot of people, football is a video game or a board game. Players are just checker pieces. They forget they are real people with real issues. Watson has a lot of baggage. No thanks. I mean, it's kind of gross to even have him as the face of your franchise. It really is. It's pretty disgusting. I mean, let's be honest now, okay? There's plenty of people on the chat board right now. Text line 855-912-1056. Let's be honest now. Complete honesty now. How do you feel about Ben Roethlisberger? Personally, for me, I think he got away with rape. He disgusts me when I see him. When I see Ben Roethlisberger, I literally get disgusted. Do you remember and hear about the story that he's got the girl in the bathroom and there's I think it was an off-duty cop or something that was blocking the door? To hear about those stories, and then obviously it ends up being he said, she said, all that. And if you don't have any video or anything, she's screwed. How do you feel about Ben Roethlisberger after all these years? Did it change your thinking? Do you look at him differently? Because I do. Because every time I see him, I see a guy that, in my eyes, in my mind, I feel like he got away with rape. Like a lot of powerful men do. So that's what I tell you about Deshaun Watson. Has your perception of Deshaun Watson, like, I had a clean-cut, cool dude, straight-up guy. That was my impression of Deshaun Watson. Tough guy, incredible athlete, fantastic quarterback, all of that. All that changed for me. Yeah, he's still a great quarterback on the field, but off the field, he seems to me like a disgusting worm. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, Ben Roethlisberger, to me, just is gross. I'm just saying. It's kind of like that's why with this guy, I think a lot of what you thought about Ben, you're going to be thinking about that. Antonio Brown's another one of those guys that he's gotten away with all kinds of crap. From possible sexual assault to beating up truck drivers to almost killing a 4-year-old kid, not 14, like a 4 or 5-year-old kid. I mean, he's done all kinds of stupid things. Men with power. It's a dangerous thing when they have fame and power and they feel that they can abuse it by taking advantage of people. Ben Armstrong. This guy was cheating left and right, winning all these Tour de France's, And then when he was getting busted, he wanted to threaten other people to fire them or go after their careers because he didn't want to get caught cheating. Men with power. I mean, just in my eyes, that's the one thing. So if Watson is quarterbacking the Dolphins, you'll be fine with it. You'll be good knowing what went on. Or is there a part of you that might disgust you about that? Because there's a part of me that I find it disgusting. And then there's a part of me that's like, wow, dude, my favorite team, their quarterback, he could be assaulting a woman right now. I just kind of have a problem with that. It sucks because there's a lot of unknown. But, man, when there's all these accusations, you know? Big O, honestly, let's play the what if here. If Watson did get traded here, what is he going to do behind this O-line? The answer is nothing. No, I get that part. We'll get to the football part eventually. And you are correct. Behind this line, anybody would struggle to win. He's going to make more plays than the guys we have because he's just better. He's a star. But there's just these other layers to it, you know? Let's see. Big O, how do you think of Kobe then? His case seemed no less clear-cut than Big Ben. No, there's a difference. Kobe didn't lock anybody up in a room. That was somebody that went up to his room at 1 a.m. Not that she was asking for it or anything, but she went up there. Whereas the Big Ben thing, she was locked up in a bathroom and there was a cop, a off-duty cop, protecting the door. It's a little different situation. Now, again, unknowns to all of it. So you can look at Kobe that way. And if you want to look at that he assaulted her, you could look at it that way, just like you could look at it with Ben or with any other athlete out there or entertainer or whatever that's done that. It's a little different situation. Still assault. If it was assault, don't know. But different scenarios. Still assault. So, again, you want to look at Kobe as you're disgusted by it. I have no problem with that. Plenty of people will be. When he died, there were people taking shots in that area. And I mean, unfortunately, that's the stuff he has, just like Michael Jackson, just like many of these other athletes, entertainers, whatever, that have been caught in all of this kind of Kevin Spacey recently, all that kind of stuff. This is the stuff you got to live with, unfortunately. If you get caught in that situation and we didn't have the video or the pictures of it, well, then there's a he said, she said, he said, whatever the situation is, that goes with a lot of people, not just Kobe. But I'm just saying, I'm talking about quarterback to quarterback. Okay, if Watson's quarterbacking my team, I'm going to feel a little dirty about it. I got to be honest. I'm going to feel like, wow, the Dolphins are pretty ruthless right now. They're willing to win at all costs, even if they literally gave and traded for a criminal because he sexually assaulted women. I don't know. That would rub me the wrong way, for a lack of a better term, by the way. Rub. Darren Lee says, you just can't have Watson as the face of the Dolphins. Can't happen now. We don't even know if the allegations against Watson are even true. I know. But we can't say they're lies either. Some guy says Mike Tyson. I got to tell you something. The Mike Tyson one, that one was fishy as hell. I don't know what happened with him and Desiree Washington. If I remember the name correctly, right? I think it is. They were making out in the limo. Then they went upstairs to his room. And then obviously he got charged. The judge was a woman's advocate also on her off time. I mean, Indiana, all that stuff, black man. Oh my God. The Mike Tyson one is one to me that was very fishy. And that's my opinion. Okay? My opinion. The other ones, but that Mike Tyson one, maybe he did it and maybe he didn't. I don't know. That we can all, make our own opinions about it. But I'm just saying the Mike Tyson one, as again, I'll use an old Mad Dog line. I put it to my nosy and it don't smell so rosy. I'm just saying. That Tyson one was kind of fishy. But having Watson as the face of your franchise, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know, man. I don't know how you do that, to be honest with you. I don't know how you do it. Let's see. What else do we have here that I wanted to get into on the program? Remember, you can reach out to us on the text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. Remember, it's my birthday today, so you all have an opportunity to give me a present. Smash the like button. Smash the like button. That's what I want. Let's get to 500 likes. Something we've never done. Let's get to 500 likes. I would love that. Plus, we were less than 20 subscribers away from 6,000. So if you can subscribe to the program, let's get to 6,000. I love it. We're about to get to 200 likes. I like it. Isn't there a conspiracy theory out there with these allegations with Watson and beef with Texans owner? I mean, dude, there are people come up with stupid ass conspiracy theories about everything. So I don't know. This has nothing to do with the owner. So the owner is going to sabotage his own player that he then needs to trade. Come on, man. I mean, that's the problem nowadays. We have too many people that come up with stupid ass conspiracy theories and they have zero proof. Zero. All those idiots out there, right? Oh, the election was rigged. The election. Zero proof. Court case after court case, they lose. Recount after recount, they lose. But guess what? They'll still come up with stupid-ass, crazy conspiracy theories. That's what we got. That's our world now. Everything is some crazy-ass conspiracy theory that you can't prove at all. There's zero proof, but we'll come up with it. These QAnon idiots, they've got all kinds of them. Hollywood's eating babies. We got a lot of people with too much, you know how bad it is? I just mentioned this in the first hour. Think about this is where this conspiracy theory comes from. It's people that have too much time on their hands. And then they don't know what to do with the time, so they spend the time convincing themselves of something that cannot be true. Like Manny Diaz is going to beat Nick Saban. You spent the whole offseason molding your mind to believe something that is impossible. But somehow or another, we had people thinking that Miami was going to beat Alabama. Like, really? Like, How can you even come close to that conclusion? That's how conspiracy theories happen. If they're out of their mind enough to convince themselves that Manny Diaz and can actually even be in the same stratosphere as Alabama, it's hilarious. That's how you get the conspiracy theories. Right there, dude. Those are the kind of people. They just tell themselves crazy stories over and over again, and they end up believing their own crazy stories. So you got the people that, Texans owner going after the player. Gotta love that. Hakeem says, happy birthday, Big O. Just for you, I've smashed the hell out of the like button every time. Thank you, Hakeem. You're a beautiful person. Yeah, the Texans owner smeared Watson so he can lose all his trade value. Stupid is as stupid does. I know, it's just asinine. People would come up with stuff like that. Oh, we need some blind ass fan alerts. You asked for it? You got it.
Blind ass fan alert. Look out, everyone. We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
Let's see, what else do we have here? Thank you, everybody, for the happy birthdays. That is very, very nice. Very nice. It's not about who's proven or not proven as NFL QBs on the field in the NFL. Watson, of course, is better than Tua right now. Put Marino or Brady behind our O-line, and they're getting hurt, not as good. I think most quarterbacks are getting hurt behind this O-line. Those are just the facts, man. What are you going to do? By the way, nice job by Urban Meyer. I got to say, I was a little nervous when they were leading, what was it, like 14-0? And then the Bengals came back and won last night, 24-21. I'm loving this. Sorry, Jags fans. I don't really root against you because I don't have anything against the Bucs or the Jags, in total honesty. Unless you're playing the Dolphins, then I want you to lose by 4,000 points. But I don't really root against the Bucs or the Jags. Normally in that situation, I want the Jags to win. But there is no part of me that wants Urban Meyer to win. There's every part of me that wants Urban Meyer to suffer. Speaking of a guy that I cannot look at the same, Urban Liar. There is the kind of scum of the earth that I can't pull for right there. And so just watch him go to 0-4. I just want to say that there is a God. There is a God because he's allowing me to enjoy Urban Meyer's demise. It's a beautiful, because the last thing I want to see is Urban Liar actually have success at this level. I want his ass to lie to us and say, oh, my heart, it's hurting again. I got to retire. And then he'll take the UFC job 6 months later because he'll feel great all of a sudden. So I got to DJ Chark, poor kid, fractures his ankle. Trevor Lawrence doesn't throw a touchdown. He ran for one at least. But Urban Liar being 0-4, oh, man, I got to tell you, that's better than celebrating a 55th birthday. Just watching her. If Urban can lose all 17 games, that would be phenomenal. That would be fantastic. That, my friends, I would love. But I just want to say, Lord, thank you for the entertainment. Appreciate you. Couple more losses. We only need 13 more. Let's get them to 0-17. Terry Baskin says, Big O, happy birthday. And at least you guys are competing. My Knowles aren't doing that, and this is a full rebuild for us. I would love to be competitive right now. Enjoy, fam. Terry, it ain't that good for us here. We're, whatever. It was a nice little comeback last night, but you're playing a terrible team, which shows how much how you're that bad that you've got to. I mean, come on, man. They had like 90-something yards of offense. in the first half against a bad defense. Crypto Dolphin Super Bowl says, happy birthday, Big O. Picked up some Cardano. Well, I hope you got it in the dip, bro. Hope you got the Cardano in the dip. And the market, it was nice to wake up this morning to a market that's bubbling on my birthday, which was good. And those of you, by the way, that stayed patient through the ups and downs the last couple of months, you're going to enjoy the fruits of your labor now, because October, November, and December are the best months for crypto. So here we go. Here we go. Big O, did you see that Kinley is one of the Dolphins' top-rated offensive linemen this season? So they benched Kinley for the second worst-rated offensive lineman on the team. See, here's my problem with all of those ratings. I think that we use PFF as law, and I don't think that PFF is as accurate as people think it is. So I don't really lean on PFF overall for anything. I kind of rely on my eyes to see the stuff. So I'm not one of those guys that kind of hangs on to everything that PFF does. I know some writers use it like, it's gospel, but I just don't. Look, in the end, the line played better this week. Those are the facts. There was no Solomon Kinley. So that's all I can say. The guys they had out there now, I don't know what's going to go on with Greg Manzik, because he's got to now fill in for Dieter. I don't know how good that young man is. Maybe he's better than Dieter. Maybe he's his equal, or maybe he's bad. I don't know. We'll find out how much that changes the overall landscape. But I do know this. They ran the ball better this week. They had one running back average 5 yards, another one average 4 yards. And the quarterback had more time to pass this week than he'd have in the first couple of weeks. So I don't know what PFF has in rankings. All I can tell you is that they were better this week as a unit. I'm going to trust the coaching staff that has coached their players up and their team to get better all year long. First 2 years, that's what they've done. I'm not like some of you guys out there that you're panicking and you want to fire everybody and you want to get rid of everybody. I am not there yet. I'm not even close to that. I'm going to show a lot more patience than some of you out there with what's going on. And I'm going to trust Flo and company that they'll figure things out and they'll know who's better and they'll get better along the way. That's what I'm going to count on. That's what's happened 2 years in a row. And when they started 0-2 last year, they went 10-4. I'm sorry. I am not at that point. You guys want to panic and you guys want to try to, twist anything into a negative. You can go ahead and do that. I'm not doing that, dude. Let's see. Some guys told me that PFF ranked Chargers 2020 O-line worst in the league. I don't know what PFF ranking is. I don't go by it, bro. I just don't. I don't care about PFF's rankings. Man of 1,005 holds. Thank you, sir. Happy birthday, O. Giving us a little love on the super chat. Glad you have made it past 50. Thanks for your insight on sports, music, and women. Continue taking care of yourself. Thank you. No tips on crypto. I made you guys all of those of you that went on any of my crypto tips here so far in 2021. I'm just saying you've made money. I'm just saying. Okay. Man of 1,005 holds. I appreciate you giving me love for sports, music. I don't know about women. That part of me, you're a little too kind on that part. I don't know if I'm Mr. Expert on women. But I got to say, my crypto advice for you guys this year has been, knock on wood, that's for Micah. This is for Micah. I don't have any wood here. Not sporting any either. But anyways, whatever. My crypto advice has been 100%. Not 99, not 95, not 75, not 50, 100% accurate. How many people can tell you that? Every coin I told you to get went up in value. You easily could have sold and made money. If you want to hang on for longer terms, that's up to you, whatever. But I did not tell you one coin that went down. Every coin I told you went up. Every one. I'm just saying. Those of you that went with it, you've made some cashirulo this year. That's all I'm saying. Troy Ortiz says, I'm panicking. Oh, yeah, well, you can panic, bro. I'm not panicking at all. I don't have, I have no worries. I have no concerns. Maybe in a few weeks, I'll be there with you guys. I don't think so. I think they'll get better as the year goes on. And I think we'll be in a much better place mentally, spiritually, when it's all said and done at the end of the year. But right now, I get it. Some of you are panicking, and that's fine. I got some panic last year at 0-2 also, and then it all calmed down. Big O, I live in the Bay Area, and Steph Curry was hurt his rookie year, and a few years, then he exploded into a megastar. Go Tua. Yeah, that's a great point. He was very injury prone, and still, I mean, he suffered the hand injury recently, also. But yeah, no, you're right, and he turned into a great player. I still believe that if Tua gets healthy and the line, which I know he's going to get healthy, but if the line can give him a little time, I think he's going to prove everybody wrong. Or not everybody, I'm sorry. Not all of you have given up on Tua. Those of you that have given up on Tua, or those of you that don't believe in him, I think he will prove a lot of people wrong in the end. Eddie says, oh, why doesn't Trevor or Wilson get the hate Tua does? They have been much worse than Tua in his first year. I can't answer it, dude. I can't answer it. Zach Wilson will throw 4 interceptions, and they'll say, oh, no, but the kid's got it. He'll be fine. Tua throws 4 interceptions, and can you imagine Tua throwing 4 interceptions? The hate would be like through the roof. Like Dolphin fans would lose their effing mind. Some Dolphin fans. Like, oh my God, he threw 4 interceptions. What a piece of crap. Chris Grier, fire him right now. I mean, that's what would happen. It would be cut Tua. He sucks. He'll never develop. And Chris Grier's a moron. He took a guy that threw 4 interceptions. 4 INTs in a game. And then all I hear is, no, Zach will be fine. He'll be fine. Oh, this is part of the growing process. Not for Tua. 10 games, 9 plays. Nah, he's done. It's over. It's 2 different standards, dude. That's just the way it is. Tua's supposed to be this neck-up smart QB, so he's not supposed to throw 3 picks. And so is Drew Brees, and he threw 5 in a game. What does that mean? John Elway's pretty smart, too. He threw a shit ton of interceptions early in his career. Peyton Manning, I don't know. It might be as cerebral as it gets, right? Go check out his first year. Threw like 27 interceptions or something. He was Jameis Winston-like his first year. That has nothing to do with... The thing is, you may be somewhat football smart when you get to the NFL, but NFL players are already football smart. So they teach you a few lessons, and then you've got to then learn your lessons and then get better from it. And that's exactly what happened to Peyton. He learned his lesson. He got better. Let's see. I think it's the hate because Tua had winning seasons his rookie year. It's mostly losing record for rookies. I don't know what it is, dude. We can all come up with the different theories on why and why he's measured differently than others. I have no idea. I get the crap we get from some of our Dolphin fans because they've suffered for so long. They have no patience. They have no tolerance. So there's a group of our fans that are they're going to give up quickly. And they're going to give up quickly on everything and anything, on any sign of negativity. Because they just feel like, oh no, here we go again. So that's what we get from Dolphins. But everybody else, outside of the Dolphin Nation, it's the weirdest thing. A lot of these rookie quarterbacks and young quarterbacks can screw up, and there's this level of patience for them and tolerance. For Tua, there is no patience and no tolerance. And he's not even you know what? If Tua was an asshole, if he was like a jerk, I can get people turning on you quickly. Oh, I totally understand that. But he's such a phenomenal young man. Hey, listen, you know what? Tebow, in a way, got a lot of hate too. And he's a good dude. Maybe we don't like the so good you're kind of corny like dude. You know what I'm saying? Because in a way, that's kind of Tua. You know, he's so perfect, and just like Tebow, that everything they handle it perfectly, and every question is methodically thought of with their answer, so they can't be put in any awkward situation or viewed at it negatively. That it's kind of like, I guess Tiger had some of that too. He was very robotic, so he got, now maybe I'm onto something here. Maybe some of these robotic type dudes that never want to say anything out of the ordinary or off kilter or whatever. Everything is always PR protected. Maybe we don't have a lot of patience for those kind of people. So when they are not having success, we kind of pile on them. I mean, once Tiger was not having success, plenty were piling on. Tebow was a monster all the way through college, and then in the NFL really wasn't very good. He did have some success. I don't know, maybe we don't like the too good, too corny type dude. I don't know. Tebow got hate because he sucked and got the benefit of the opportunity. Yeah, I know, but he still makes the pass to Demaryius Thomas. The crossing pattern, and Demaryius goes off, and that's the play that lifts them past the Pittsburgh Steelers. So, I mean, Tebow sucked, right? But yet somehow or another, he finds a way to score, what was it, like 21 points in 2 minutes against the Dolphins to win. Tebow sucks, but he's the guy that ends up winning a playoff game. It's crazy. And you're right. He's a bad NFL QB. But holy crap, does the sun shine on that dog's ass all the time. It's amazing. Drew Brees had 17 and 16 interceptions in year 2. Let's see, 11 TDs, 15 interceptions in year 3, and then year 4. No, I know that, Irving. I've talked about that. He sucked his first 3 years. But nobody ever, that doesn't matter for Tua. He can't struggle. Oh, he can't have he didn't have a bad first year, actually. He had a decent first year. I think he was good, actually, considering he's coming back from a hip injury. But God forbid he'd be as bad as Brees was his first 3 years. Are you kidding me? That would, forget it. I mean, they'd want Tua kicked out of the team like right away. Chris Johansson says, I like Herbert, trusted Greer, knew what he was doing. I think 60% of being a GM is getting a QB right. I'm not saying, and see, that's the problem here. I'm not ready to say Herbert was right, and I'm not ready to say Tua was wrong. Now, those of you that want to jump the gun and you want to say it, go ahead. You're entitled to it. But I'm not ready to say either guy has succeeded or failed. I haven't seen enough of both guys. So I obviously need to see Tua succeed more and then succeed in key moments, because that's the next step to after success. And that's what I got to see now from Herbert. Herbert's been fantastic. He's put up some numbers. Now I need to see him win against good teams. I need to see if he can be a big time quarterback in key moments. That's very important. I've watched a lot of guys put up stats. It's a little bit more than just putting up stats. Dolphin fans hate hearing the truth. Instead, they want people fired. These fake fans gave Tannehill 7 years before pulling the plug, but yet can't give Tua a fair chance to prove himself with the bad O-line. Can't argue with that. Professor EDR says, happy birthday, Big O. Many blessings to you, and thank you for all your hard work you do to entertain us daily. I am completely done with the Canes this season. Have a great day, my brother. I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. It's tough to watch. I'll watch it because I love the Canes, and I've been watching the Canes before they were good. So it's something that's part of me, and I'll root for them, and I'll hope one day that they can get back to being respectable. But I don't blame fans that don't want to watch them. I don't blame fans that no longer want to go to games. This is what they've earned. They won't need that stadium anymore. They won't need it. They could eventually go to Miami Freedom Park. Now, problem is that there's a lot of soccer being played on Saturdays. And that stadium will be too big for them also, because it'll be like 30,000. But that's where we're headed. They're not going to need a lot of seats anymore. It's just the way we're going. People will stop going to games, and people will stop caring about the University of Miami like they used to, because eventually they'll catch up to it and they'll figure it out. Okay, there is no real commitment here. One of you guys, I forgot which one I saw it. It was funny. Said maybe they should talk to Jeter and how to spend some money, which is kind of funny. They could go to the baseball stadium. That way, the University of Miami football program and the baseball team will have the least amount of fans of any of the pro teams in town. Think about that. And that stadium's too big for the University of Miami football team now. Oh, what do you think is the minimum salary to get a good head coach and quality assistants? Troy, don't even bother. Don't bother, bro. Don't bother worrying about that, because it's never going to happen. They're not going to do any of that. They're not spending the $12 to $15 million yearly that you're going to need for those kind of coaches. For all three. They're not going to do it. So don't even bother. Don't even waste your time on that. What else? What else do we have here? Let's see. I told you about the Josina Anderson stuff. The other thing. Oh, and by the way, this game for the Miami Dolphins is a pride game. Okay? That's what this whole thing is all about. It's all about pride. And if you're going to be a playoff team, this is a game you got to win. Just like in 3 weeks, you've got to beat the Bucks. I'm sorry, the Jags after the Bucks. You're going to lose to the Bucks, but you've got to beat the Jags. That, to me, this is one of those games where this tests your professionalism, because you're probably a better team right now considering all the injuries that the Colts have. You got to show up, dude. You got to show up. This is the kind of game that is set up for you. The quarterback has 2 busted up ankles. You got 3 linemen that are hurt and probably out for this game, including the Notre Dame cat who's a badass. So if they're missing all this and you're home and you're in the heat on a nice hot 1:00 day, this is a gut check. This is a character check. This is one where there are no excuses, because this is the kind of game that at the end of the year, you look back, and if you're not in the playoffs, you're going to kick yourself in the ass. You're going to go, that's the game that cost us the playoffs. So this Colts game, and in 2 more weeks, the Jags game, those 2 games are must-win situations. Coaching staff, Flo and company, better have his teams prepared for these next 2 games. You need to be 3-3 with 11 games left. You do the math, ladies and gentlemen. Not that you're going to win all 11 games, but that allows you an opportunity to win 14. Not that you're going to win 14, but if you win 8, you got 11 wins already. You win 9, you're at 12. And there are a lot of winnable games left on the schedule, especially if the line does improve and you get Tua healthy. I believe you'll get better as a team. And I think that some of you will then be a little bit more happier with Tua as he finishes the season. But we've got to get to that point. But there's no doubt in my mind that this is a gut check type of game, a character game for the Miami Dolphins. Do whatever you have to do to win the game, but win it. Win it by a point, bro. You win it by 10 or 15, great. But just, you got to walk away with a win. This is kind of, in a way, I hate to say this, but your season's kind of on the line in the last 3 weeks, because those 2 winnable games have got to be in that W column. All right, let's talk to Omar Kelly, baby. Let's get our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. That's next.
The Big O Radio Show is home for the hardcore Dolphins fan. That's why we give you Omar Kelly twice a week. Buckle up. It's time for the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show.
All righty, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. He is centered. He's ready to go. Follow him on Twitter at Omar Kelly and our EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins report. Oh, how you doing? How you feeling?
A lot better than Michael Dieter.
Yeah, man. Sucks. He's going to be out. So is it Manzik? Is that how it's pronounced? Is Manzik the man?
Mance? I don't know. I don't know how it's pronounced.
Okay.
Joe Shad is usually our pronunciation guy around here, but that's a good question. He's going to be rocking for at least the next 4 weeks. It'll be interesting to see whether or not this is longer. Flores will not specify. If it's a foot injury, you have to think it's going to be longer. Foots usually take about 6 weeks to heal. The thing about this is that, Mance is a veteran starter. I believe he started 28 games. So there's the potential that you could be enhancing your unit because you're not exactly going to a young, inexperienced player. You're going to a stopgap, which is pretty much why Dieter actually got the job. They didn't want to go that route. And I think Dieter had been playing okay, but let's not act like he wasn't. He was a star or shining.
But he wasn't like a sore spot either. So I got to give him. I mean, listen, this is a new position for the kid. So
yes.
I got a guy that hasn't played a lot in the first year.
It was okay, just like everybody else on their offensive line. I mean, I was very interested to hear that Flores was kind of critical about Robert Hunt, who I think had probably been the most consistent player on the offensive line. But he talked about consistency. We got to get consistency, and clearly that's something that's should be a priority for the entire unit. Consistency. The one thing I've learned, everybody knows I love and I'm obsessed with trench play, and the one thing I've learned about trench play is, Joey Porter taught me you could be a Pro Bowler with 3 wins a game. We're not talking stalemates. We're talking about 3 clear-cut wins dominant. He said, you get 3 wins a game, that's a tackle for loss, that's a sack, that's a forced fumble, that's a big third down stop. You get 3 wins per game, you're going to be at the Pro Bowl. Now flip it on the other side. You can't have 3 losses on the offensive line. Right. Like one bad play, and the worst offensive lineman I've seen down here was actually Mark Colombo, but outside of Mark Colombo, who is now a supposedly ridiculously good offensive line coach, it was Dallas Thomas. And Dallas Thomas would be okay to borderline decent for 50 plays a game. But then there were 5 plays, and you don't know when they were coming. You don't know what down they were coming.
Usually they came in bad moments, actually.
You don't know what drive it was. But there were going to be 5 disasters. And those 5 disasters cost you a game. And, and he's right. There are instances where it's 2 plays to Jesse Davis. It's 3 plays to Robert Hunt. It's 5 plays to Austin Jackson. It's, 3 plays to Liam Eichenberg. And you add that all up, you've got basically offensive line ruining about 15 to 20 plays a game. And, you can't play like that.
No. They definitely have to improve. Now, they were a little better this week, so now we will see if somehow they can get better again this week against a Colts team.
Without a new starter, and now I believe I heard a stat that the Dolphins had the most offensive line changes since I didn't get the year. During
10,000, I want to say it's 2010, I think.
Yeah.
I
wasn't surprised.
No.
But, it was kind of disappointing to know and hear and see. But
so you've been on fire this week. I guess going after Greer and Flo, and not happy with the results right now. Are you at a point where you think changes need to be made?
I'm at a point where I think if they lose to the Colts on Sunday, I know what it is because I've been here for 14 years. It becomes finger pointing time. It becomes, our O-line is crappy because coaches aren't getting it done. Oh, no, our O-line is crappy because the personnel department, they got us crappy players. No, why are we getting big plays from our receivers? When you lose to the Colts, and then let's assume we're going into Tampa and you take an L there, and then you start the year 1-4, and you're in that pit of mediocre teams. You got to answer some tough questions to Steve Ross. And that's when the finger pointing and the bickering and the cut eyes begin. And that's usually I've seen it happen so many times here. That's usually the demise of an organization. And people start jockeying. So to relieve some of that pressure, as I wrote in a column yesterday in Centeno, got to beat the Colts. Got to beat the Colts. I'm not going to say this is a must-win game because Flores teams have started worse and have rebounded.
Yeah. Although I think it is a must-win period this week and 2 weeks from now against the Jags because those are the games that you lose.
Yeah.
And at the end of the year, you're going to go, we didn't make the playoffs because we lost that game and that game.
Yeah.
And the Colts and the Jags are the 2 games that could cost you.
That
will cost you a playoff spot, by the way.
That'll
be my prediction. If you lose those games, I guarantee you at the end of the year, you're going to be sitting there with 8 or 9 wins, and you're going to go, well, wait a minute, dude. We could have had 10 or 11. Mm-hmm. Where was it? Colts, Jags.
You're so just like last year it was Denver and some other game. I forget.
Yeah, but Denver's got a badass defense at least.
They did.
You know what
They
I'm saying?
did. They did.
At least
but
there's
you needed
nothing
that.
badass about the culture of the Jags.
You
Offense,
needed that game
defense,
though.
special teams. There's nothing badass about them. You know what I'm saying? At least with Denver, they can kick your ass on any given Sunday. That defense can turn you over, cause havoc, and make life a little easier for their offense. You know, something that Miami isn't doing right now, that their defense isn't making it any easier on their struggling offense. You know what I'm saying? So at least with Denver, there's a factor of that team that I gotta respect, and that's that defense.
Yeah, I mean, but think about it. The Colts were a playoff team last year, and they were injury. They've been injury depleted, no question about it.
Yeah,
I doubt they'll have 5 starters, and Carson Wentz is playing on 0 good ankles, and Quentin Nelson, who I believe is a top 20 player in this league, isn't going to be on the field.
Right there, that's where I'm going to tell you that when we looked at the Colts the last couple of years, the only thing that you really looked at that you said, holy shit, it's that offensive line.
Yeah.
That offensive line was the difference maker. That after they lost their quarterback to retirement, they went and built the damn line. And it's like, okay, that really helps.
No, they built that line before the quarterback went to retirement, though. No.
They started, but they weren't anywhere near
when
finished. When they had Andrew Luck, he was still getting killed.
Better than this?
Huh?
That was better than this?
I know, but they didn't have Quentin Nelson when they had Andrew Luck.
Yeah, they did. Quentin Nelson played with Andrew Luck.
Was he like a rookie or something? Like
no,
he
played.
Year?
I think he played. Maybe I would because Quentin Nelson's on his like 5th, 6th year. I don't have it in front of me, but look up how many.
Luck's been retired. Like 4 at least?
Andrew Luck retired 3 years ago because Brissett's on his 3rd year since Andrew Luck retired. So yeah, Andrew Luck retired 3 years.
He was there 3 years, right?
No, he was there 3 years, but he played 1 with Luck. He did a 2-year extension.
That's right.
So that the 2 years he finished that deal, and it's funny how I count things. And then he here with Miami. So Andrew Luck retired 3 years ago. So Quentin Nelson definitely played with him.
Yeah, but they didn't have the line that they had, and actually that line's lost a little now.
Yeah,
with Conzo retiring and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not as good as they have been in the past. But I'm telling you, you got to win these next 2 games between the Jags and the Colts. They have to be W's because you're losing to Tampa. So at least if you're 3-3 with 11 games left, you've left the door open for you to go to the playoffs, and you get Tua back at that point, right?
Yep, absolutely, no question about it. I didn't even think about it. I thought Tampa was next. I usually take a 1 game at a time approach, but it's Jacksonville next, and
no. Tampa is next. You're right.
Okay, Tampa is next. All right,
Tampa's next, but that's a loss. But I'm saying 2 out of the next 3.
You know that's a loss. How you know?
That's a loss.
Man, COVID could run rampant in Tampa right now.
Well, that's different. Okay, I'm not counting on COVID. Of course,
I think they could beat Tampa. This team hasn't come close to playing at their full capabilities, and I'm not saying that they're going to start. No, I'm not saying that. Like
they won't have Tua for that game, so.
Jacoby, listen. All right, I'm not going to cape for Jacoby. Jacoby can get it done. Jacoby is better than Brock Osweiler, and you won games with Brock Osweiler.
That's not saying much.
Yeah, I'm not willing to say he's better than that more.
That's even an insult to Jacoby Brissett. You know what I'm saying?
He's better than Chad Henne. How do you feel about that one?
God,
we've had some mediocre quarterbacks, man.
Yes,
it's time. It's time.
Yeah. Yes. This weekend, is it Brissett having to kind of balance his emotions a little bit here in this one?
He claims it's not a revenge game. Okay.
They can claim whatever the hell they want. Yeah. Tom Brady also thinks it's just another game going to Foxborough.
Absolutely, no question.
When he wants to light those sumbitches up for 10 more touchdowns. He'd love to walk out of that game 60-0. That would excite him, okay?
And you don't think Todd Bowles is telling the defense, let's do this for Tom Brady? I love revenge games. I don't understand why players downplay it. And
let me tell you something. Todd Bowles doesn't have to do jack shit. You know why? They all have a ring, because of that dude last year, those guys will all go through walls for that guy. That guy's already won everybody in that organization over. Every single player will do anything they possibly can to win that game for Tom. There's no doubt in my mind. Not only is it Tom, I think that whole team will be motivated for Tom. Plus, all those guys have probably already lost to Belichick several times, and this is their time.
Oh God,
it to them. You know
they look so mediocre right now. It's like and you know, people they're probably gonna take this clip. Like, I've been saying for years that it's Brady. It's not Belichick. It's Brady. And now people finally recognize it and see it. Yes, Belichick is a Hall of Fame coach. He's gonna game plan and scheme you to death. But you know what? It makes it so much easier when you have a quarterback you could give the ball with 2 minutes left, and he's ultimate 2 minutes left, no timeout, and he's going to go score a touchdown. Makes it so much easier when you have a quarterback who throws guys open and doesn't allow pressure from your offensive line. You know, who could read a defense and just instantly snap his finger and the balls to an open man. It makes it so much easier. Put some respect on Tom Brady's name and take a little bit of gloss off that Bill Belichick, because he hasn't proven that he can win without Tom Brady.
Dude, he made Dion an MVP in a Super Bowl. He goes and gets a big ass contract from Seattle, and he couldn't do jack in Seattle, and then he comes back and actually plays well again in New England. And it's because of Tom Brady, bro. Tom Brady is Tom Brady. He's the ultimate eraser. That's what he's been, and he makes Oompa Loompas like good receivers. That's the other thing that they did to him for many years. It's like he's looking around going, "Oh, I'm taking a pay cut, and you're not spending any money here. What the hell's going on?" And look, he goes to Tampa, and they give him everything he wants, dude. Look at the receiving core he has. We can talk about Moss and Welker. What he has now is way better, actually.
That's what I want, Big O. That's what I want. That's where my heart is right now. I want an Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady situation here. I'm tired. I'm tired, Big O.
Well, I saw you retweeted Josina Anderson's tweets.
Yes, I think Josina is probably the person who has the most direct contact with Deshaun Watson. I know that.
I agree. So what came out of that was, this ain't done by November 2nd. They're not getting through all of the civil and the criminal.
That is not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere. It might be here for a year, for two. This is civil. I've always said and felt this is civil. This isn't jail time arrest. But
we don't know that. But still, the criminal investigation is still going on. So
if they have enough to put charges on you, trust me, they're gonna put charges on you.
Well, I know that, but they haven't yet, and so we have to wait. We don't know. We don't have all the info.
Okay. My biggest concern about the whole Deshaun Watson thing, and understand, Deshaun Watson, to me, I like him, but he's option B. I told you option A. Like
Rodgers?
Why wouldn't I want to give Aaron Rodgers a Tom Brady situation and let him pick his team?
I get it. I'm not. Listen,
where else is he going to play?
In a way, I'd rather go with 2 years of Rodgers than the baggage of Watson.
Exactly.
And I still believe, Omar, that the league will step in the second they try to trade him, and they'll say, no, we're not going to have that right now.
I think if the league was going to step in, the league would have stepped in and put him on the suspended list already. I think the league
but they don't have to, because they've already put him on the kibosh already.
Well, it would have been smart for them to put him on the suspended list now.
The NFL doesn't have to get involved right now. Yeah. Why get involved when you don't have to? Is what I'm saying.
He's getting his paycheck. The league has stepped in before without any criminal prosecution on multiple occasions.
You're right.
Why didn't they do that on this one?
Because he's not playing, Omar, because they've got him on ice.
It doesn't matter. He's still collecting his paycheck. He's still embarrassing the league.
That doesn't affect
everybody's still talking about it. The league cares about embarrassment. They don't care about right or wrong.
Trading a guy that could be facing criminal charges would be embarrassing.
You're already letting him
right
play.
now, leaving him on ice and the Houston Texans paying him doesn't affect the league, doggy. Houston pays him because it's a commodity that they haven't unloaded, so they have to pay him.
So you think the minute they unload him is when the NFL is going to punish?
Yeah,
him?
no, not punish. Just the commissioners list. They'll say no. You guys can trade him after the legal issues are done. But for now, I don't think they'll allow.
No, they would have done that already. Trust me, they would have done. These owners talk on an owner level.
All right, so let's do this. There's
I think Steve Ross, and this is just speculation.
$50 of stakes on the line.
He gets traded. He gets traded. You say he gets traded, and
there's no shot he gets traded this year. No shot.
No.
By November 2nd, there's zero chance he gets traded because the legal issues aren't done. The league will not allow it. I will bet you $50 on stakes on that.
I don't know if I'm willing. I don't know if I'm willing. One, I think Miami is the only team in the game. And I feel like this is a Josh Rosen situation where people are trying to have them bid against themselves. I think you just stand friggin' firm and you say, this is what's on the table, as they had done previously. It ain't changing, whether you will. And now stories coming out, and I don't doubt the stories because I know exactly they're coming from the most reputable NFL reporter out there. And it's like, now the Houston Texans too is hurting. The Houston Texans are willing to budge off their offer. Okay, cool. Then you call me and you make me an offer. And now it's 3 1s and 3 3s instead of 3 1s and 3 2s. Like, I would do 3 1s and 3 3s, but I would also do conditions on jail time and arrests, which
that's where I'm telling you, the NFL is not going to allow that.
I mean, no. But let's say I put conditions on.
Think about that right there.
No. Let's say I put conditions on
based on arrest.
I could put conditions on the future picks based on how many starts he has in 2021.
Well, starts is different. Arrests,
but that's a condition I could put on it. That's a condition I could put on it. If he's arrested, it's not impacting any games.
The NFL won't allow it because
if he's arrested and it's not impacting any games, who cares? If he's suspended for 2021, I'm not 21, 2022. I would put conditions on it. I would give them 1-1, 2 3s now. The rest of it is conditional on how many games you play in 2022. You could do that.
You're like a hitman. Like 5,000 now, 5,000 now, and when I kill him, 5,000 later.
Listen, Steve Ross paid $550 million now, and then he paid a year later $550 million later for the Dolphins.
Right, yeah. That's right.
If he can make that deal happen, he can make this deal happen.
Yeah, but there's not a criminal involved here, criminal charges allegedly, involved in all of this. That's a whole different ballgame, bro. That's why.
If in my mind, this has already been the league's biggest embarrassment. This is a lot worse than when who's the running back who got suspended for beating his son.
Adrian Peterson with the
whip. This is worse than Adrian Peterson. Oh, yeah. They suspended him for
but there was evidence there, the switch, the pictures of it all, and all that. That's why we haven't seen any evidence here. That's the thing. It's all he said, they said. And now that's the whole thing. We don't know if there's any incriminating phone calls, texts, pictures, videos.
That's a good, yeah.
That's the part that we don't know about it. There's stuff that maybe there's nothing to this case, and maybe there's something to this case. That's the damn problem with all of this. We don't have all the facts.
He's still going to be traded without all the facts and without all the. He's still going to be traded. And I'm not saying that I would do it. I would do it, but it wouldn't be my number one option. I'm waiting for Rodgers. I am.
I got you.
Where else is he going to play?
And they're going to want to trade him to the AFC.
Every California team is already taken.
Right. No, and they're not going to want to trade him in the NFC. They're going to want to trade him to the AFC.
Exactly. I'm selling myself to Aaron Rodgers right now. You bring me Rodgers, you Devontae Parker, you pick your team, it's yours. What do you want? I'm Peyton Manning the situation, like Miami full court press Peyton Manning. So
yeah,
I'm gonna wait this out. Deshaun Watson, my deal is my deal. You accept it, cool. If not, keep it moving. Because really, it's Miami and maybe let's speculate, maybe the Giants. And we all know Philadelphia is interested, but Watson's already kiboshed a trade on that one. So
yeah.
Bottom line, he wants to be here.
And they somehow are committed to Jalen Hurts. I don't know why, but whatever. They want to commit to him. Great kid, but
they see him in practice. They know. I watched him against whoever he just played. Dallas, wasn't that impressed.
He hasn't convinced me ever as a passer. He's got to convince me as a passer.
He had a great. I mean, we never know. Is he better than Tua right now? I don't know.
I mean, listen. Josh Allen did what I never thought he could do. So.
Yeah, absolutely. No question. I would agree with that.
I stand corrected there because I never saw that from that kid.
I had to apologize to Dennis Hickey last home game. I saw Dennis Hickey, and Dennis Hickey was like, "You're wrong on Josh Allen. You're wrong on Josh Allen. You're wrong on Josh Allen," because he's in the Bills front office.
Yeah, I know.
And I held firm. And so he sees me and he's gloating and he's like, I was like, "You're right. You were right. Those things can be cleaned up." And I'd never seen him.
By the way, one of the best people you can deal with in this business.
Yeah, man. He got shanked. He
didn't do a bad job, actually. If you go back and look at his 2 drafts.
No. He should have no shame about anything he did here. He got shanked in the side by
the politics like we had here for so long. That was one of the best things they've done now is that there are no politics now. It's everybody's on the same page, at least. Whether they succeed or fail, that's a whole different ballgame, but at least they're all on the same page. Hickey was in a moment where there was always these power struggles going on, and it was just
we've had trust me, I lived the power struggle, and I think there can potentially become a power struggle here, but that's not in Brian. That's not in Chris Greer's personality. So it won't be a power struggle. It's okay. You want power? It's yours.
He'll work with people, but here's where again, and Hickey's an example, but so is Jeff Ireland, and so is Rick Spielman. All these guys left and have done better everywhere else. All of them. Rick Spielman just can't figure out the quarterback. But no one's going to argue with me that he's built up some pretty damn good offenses and defenses over there in Minnesota.
Okay, pretty good talent over there too.
And Jeff Ireland is credited by everybody that you talk to around that organization and covers it. He's been the key to their success the last couple of years in the draft. And look at where Buffalo's at, and Dennis Hickey's there. And I don't give a shit what you tell me.
Their number 2 is a former Dolphins.
Go back and look at his 2 drafts. They're not that. They weren't that bad, bro. They were pretty decent.
In Buffalo, they're number 2. I can't remember his name, but he's a former Dolphin. So they're assistant GM.
My point is, we need to be patient with these guys. They're not going to be perfect. They're not going to do everything. See, history is repeating, and you're making the same mistakes.
No. I don't need to be patient because I don't like what I see. And I came into it knowing this line was crap. And you did dumb things that made it even worse. So I have to hold you accountable to that. Because
that's a mistake that can be made, but that doesn't mean it can't be corrected.
You're going to correct it this season?
Well, okay, so this season you can't. You got to go to the offseason and correct it.
I'm not waiting.
Mistakes are made, bro.
You spent 3 years building this, right?
If you spent
3 years building this,
when they go 10-6, and if they have a bad year this year, you can't just shit on them because they had a setback.
No. What are our expectations?
Playoffs.
I don't even have a playoffs winning season. I never had it playoffs.
Well, I had playoffs, and maybe I'm ahead of my. It's year 3. Maybe I'm unrealistic. Maybe what I deserve is this.
Blind ass fan alert! Look out, everyone! We've got a blind ass fan coming through.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what I deserve, because maybe I was getting ahead of myself here.
Let me break down this offseason for you, because we already know last offseason was a complete disaster, since you spent all of this offseason undoing 90% of everything that you did last offseason. Okay, let me show you why this offseason is a disaster. Your biggest moves were you signed Will Fuller, knowing that he couldn't stay healthy. Well, lo and behold, what happens? Can't stay healthy. Your second biggest move was Bernard McKinney. You cut him out of camp. You know you have offensive line issues. You need a new center. You signed Matt Skura. Never competed. You had to go out and trade for a player. You don't address the running back position. Now, a guy who had never had an opportunity to start before is your starter, Malcolm Brown. Let's move to the pass rushing. You need to beef up pass rushing. And Jalen Phillips, it's too early. It's very patient with it. We coming in here? Are we almost ready? Okay. Jalen Phillips is not a proven, polished commodity player yet, and no shame in that. But but you knew you needed pass rushing. You could have gone out and you could have signed Melvin Ingram. You chose not to. So your problems were created by you. As an organization, as an executive, Eric Flowers could have helped you. Your problems were created by you. I cannot sit here and not hold you accountable for the fact that this team has regressed instead of taking a step forward. Your job was to make this team take a step forward. You have regressed as an organization. That's on front office.
Well, that we can talk about that after 17 games have been played.
Okay.
I'm not ready to say they've regressed yet. You're already assuming that
you were the best team on third downs in the NFL. Now you're the worst. That's not regression.
But it's 3 games.
Your offensive line was shit 2 straight years and continues to be. Actually, is even worse than it was before.
But it's 3 games.
Okay, cool. Let's.
Yeah, we're assuming everything is going to be. I'm sorry. You're assuming everything's going to be a disaster from here to the end of the season. I mean,
at no point this season have they looked good. They only have 1 win because Xavier Howard pulled it out his ass.
Okay, but they also have their quarterback out the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, so okay, cool. That happens to everybody. That happens to everybody. And
everybody doesn't bounce back with their backup quarterback.
Okay.
It's not like you don't miss a beat with your backup. You normally miss a lot with your backup quarterback.
That's fair, but I'm sorry. You have regressed in so many areas, and you're right, it's early. Let's judge this at midseason. Let's put a pin in this, and let's come back to it in week 9.
Yeah, and I got no problem with that, at least revisiting it at that point.
Week 9, if we don't have any solutions to some of these problems, then we got to sit there and we got to say, okay, this team has regressed in these areas, and it is insert person's name's fault. That's what I want.
Right, but if they have progressed, then I want to hear you say, well, I think I overreacted from
absolutely. No question.
Okay.
I'm sure I overreacted last year when they had a bad start and then they won 5 straight games. I'm positive I did.
0-2, 10-4.
I mean, that's the one thing. That's the one thing I will give Flores. His teams rebound and they don't quit on him. They don't go in the tank and they develop and the game plans are good. I'm not going to sit here and say that.
Wait a minute. But if you say they don't go in the tank, you have them battling against each other if they lose this game. Then all of a sudden,
this is different. This is expectations. No expectations first 2 years.
But he didn't lose the team at 0-7, dude. At 0-7,
Everybody on that team was fighting for employment. But of course, you're not going to lose the team.
Omar, you've been around teams that have been 0-whatever, and they lost, they lost the coach.
Everybody on that team was fighting for their NFL future. If you sign Ryan Sealer,
when you're 0-7 and you're losing every week, players normally will tune your ass out.
No, not guys who are just thankful to be employed and thankful for the check. They're thankful for their $35,000 check per game.
You know that every week you're selling a game plan to a team and you lose. Those players will not follow you after a certain time. They're just
correct.
not.
Man. Which is where the point we're getting to. You're right. And we got.
This guy hasn't lost anybody at any time so far.
You don't know that.
You know what I mean?
You don't know that. There are players he doesn't even have.
I'm going by track record.
Okay.
You're not.
You're not. No. You don't know that. There are players who do not like Flores.
No, I do know that because I watched it the first 2 years.
Okay.
He doesn't lose anybody through any adversity. So why would he start now to lose people in adversity when they know anybody that was there the first year, anybody that was there the first and second years, and now they're here the third year, they can look around and even tell a Jalen Phillips, say, don't worry about it, bro. Everything will get better. We always get better. Coach figures it out. That's been the track record.
It has been. And what happens when it changes?
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I just don't think
you do know Adam Gase has a better 35-game start than Brian Flores, right?
Yes, I do.
You do know every coach the Dolphins have had, except for Cam Cameron, has a better 35-game start than Brian Flores.
And you do know that they all had better talent to start off their careers than this guy did. All of them. Every one of them. Cam Cameron, Flo wishes he had Cam Cameron's defense. Wishes.
Wow. Okay. All right.
What he had on don't argue with me on this. What he had on that D line was sick compared to what they have now.
He also had a ton of injuries. He also had a ton of injuries and lost a lot of star players. But
those teams had better talent. This guy tore it all down in the first year, and he's rebuilding it
by
back up
choice.
By
choice.
That's
it was
fine.
Not by
That's
choice.
fine, but building by youth is not an easy thing.
They chose to waive and pick up 27 guys off waiver wires and start 14 of them the week that they arrived on the team. That's by choice. I do not give you any kudos or trophy for your little 5 moral little victories. No,
you end up with 5 wins, and you end.
Ryan Fitzpatrick delivered 4 of the 5 wins. Ryan Fitzpatrick delivered 4 of the 5 wins, including the dynasty ending. I give Ryan Fitzpatrick the credit. Wrong. I've always been that way, and you know that. We sit here and argue for years about that. You were tanking. You were strategically trying to be bad. Oh my God! You have no business. You have no business claiming Cameron Munson off the practice squad of the Patriots and starting him on Sunday's game. None. 0.
Why not? Why not?
Why not? Why not? Because
at that point you have no choice.
You're not. No. You had choices. You were competitively trying to be bad.
No.
And
when you go 5-4 at the back end, you're not trying to be bad. You're improving as the year goes on.
Oh my God! You were starting Cameron. You were starting Calvin Munson
dynasty, baby.
You were starting Calvin Munson, and the best thing that you found was Zach Sealer in all of that mediocrity, experimentation, dumb foolishness that you were doing.
What if I tell you, growing up, Flo loved the Munsters? That's why he signed Calvin Munson. It reminded him of the Munsters.
Bro, you know how many guys that they claimed off waiver wire or poached off a practice squad that joined the team on Wednesday and started games on Sunday?
That was Studley. That's the kind of balls I want on my coach. The guy that could get a guy off the street and beat your ass the next day. That's what he did. He went 5-4 down the stretch. He got guys off the street, and he said, Belichick, you're my bitch today in Gillette Stadium. We're shaving your ass right off of history. And he ended the dynasty.
You're ending the dynasty.
That's my kind of coach.
That is going to be his greatest accomplishment. That is going to be his greatest accomplishment.
That's a great accomplishment right there.
It is a great
Brady and Belichick. All right. He beat your boy Brady.
Didn't Tannehill beat Hold on, didn't Tannehill beat the Patriots in the first round? So that means technically Tannehill ended the dynasty.
No, it wasn't Tannehill. It wasn't Tannehill that year.
Who beat them? Who beat them in the first round? Baltimore?
No. Oh, you're talking about in the play. I'm talking about in 2019 in Game 17.
Yeah, I'm talking about the playoffs in 2019 because the Dolphins were the last game that they played. They went to a playoff game.
Oh yeah, I know that, but they sent them to the wild card round because they weren't that good.
Who was that team that beat them? Who was that team that beat them? I think it was Tennessee.
No, it was Miami that beat them down mentally. That by the time Tennessee got them,
stop! Give Tannehill his credit. Give Tannehill his credit.
No, I give Derrick Henry credit, not Tannehill.
No, Tannehill ended the Patriots' diet. I think it was Tannehill. I think it was Tennessee because it shocked the world.
It was the Dolphins that ended the dynasty, bro.
Man,
it was the Dolphins. Those bastards wanted the bye week, and the Dolphins denied them the bye week. Flo said, nah.
And then Tannehill ended the dynasty by ending the season prematurely and preventing another Patriots.
I'll look it up, and I bet Derrick Henry had like 250 yards in that game.
It doesn't matter. It was Tannehill, starting quarterback, ending the dynasty. Yes, Derrick Henry probably had 200.
All right, so what'd you do? Are you picking them to win or what?
Picking them to win. So is everybody else in the Sun Sentinel. So is everybody in the media contingent, which means it's a very dangerous game.
So what you're saying, where the field goal kick's going to go off the pole and we're going to lose? Is that what you're saying?
Don't stop. Don't talk. Don't. I'm not ready. I can't. I'm not. I'm done. I checked out. Dude, can South Florida handle a bad loss?
No, they don't want. No. The good thing is that Sunday there'll be a big win, so that's all good, and we'll make up for the loss from last night. So we'll be all fine. All right, so you're getting ready for a press conference, correct?
Yeah, man. We should be able to get some. We're going to talk to the new starting center, so we'll make that fun.
Okay, yeah, you ain't going to get any answers from Flo because he ain't going to give you any answers. You know that.
This is my life.
You ain't getting anything from Flo.
He volunteered some information today, but yeah, you're right. It's nothing very positive. All right, man, I gotta get out of here.
Plus, you're not giving him any credit for ending the Patriot dynasty. All right, we'll see you on Sunday. You be good.
All right, talk later.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843. For EJDconstruction.com. All righty, we are back. We thank Omar Kelly for joining us as always. Great stuff by him. Appreciate all of you out there. As always, Tanny had 97 yards passing in that game. I know it's always what's it called? Derrick Henry, bro. Derrick Henry's the guy that dominates. If it's not for Derrick Henry, they wouldn't go anywhere on that team. It's certainly not the quarterback that's doing it. The Omar Kelly segments are always great. Yes, they are. They are always fantastic. I always have fun going back and forth with Omar. Richard Jacobs says, you spoke to Omar Kelly for quite a bit of time over Watson, which tells me, Big O, deep down, we have the wrong quarterback on our team with no question. No, I don't actually. I don't say that at all. And if you've noticed, I have not said that I'm for a Watson trade. I'm not really big on acquiring Watson. Okay, I kind of think, he's kind of a scumbag. So no, I really don't want to see him. The Rodgers one is kind of interesting. If Tua's going to be injured and all that stuff and not going to prove it, then you got to think of another option. I still believe that Tua is going to come back. And if you can get some kind of O-line play from him, I think Tua will be fine. I still think Tua is going to be a good quarterback in this league. I really do. I know the injury thing is the only thing that can get in his way from being a good quarterback in this league. But not good quarterback, being a hell of a quarterback in this league. I think the kid has it. But he needs some help. You've got to give him some time back there. He's just physically not the kind of guy that is going to be able to take a ton of hits. You're playing Russian roulette. So I fear his durability. That I will give you, Richard. I do fear his durability. I've always feared his durability. And I've never shied away from that. I've always told you that's my only concern with the young man. I'm convinced he can be a player. I really am. Moynihan says, Fitzpatrick did deliver the wins last year. He was clutch. We needed another QB with the ability to perform when things are down. Jacoby isn't it. Tua hasn't shown he is it either. Big O is all excuses, mumbo jumbo, blah, blah, blah. Excuse factory. That is me, Kelly. I am the excuse factory. We are open for all kinds of excuses. 2 for 1, 3 for 1. We got all kinds of deals on excuses for you right here on the show. All right. I think it is time to wrap it up here on the show. That's what I think it is, unfortunately. We are out of here. We will see you guys tomorrow. Sunday. Appreciate all of you out there, as always, for keeping it locked here on the show. Don't forget to smash the hell out of the like button. Hit the subscribe. I want 500 likes today for my birthday. So if you're watching the podcast, you're checking it out on YouTube after, please, B-Day today, get us to 500 likes. That's what we need, okay? And subscribe to the show. We want to get to 6,000 because we got to move on, baby. We got to move on. We got to get to bigger and better numbers out there overall. We appreciate all of you out there. Keep the faith. Dolphins will be back on Sunday. We will be at Sports Grill in Miami Lakes at 11 a.m. with our pregame show. Get you ready for the 1 o'clock kickoff. And then we'll be back in the postgame show. Omar Kelly, Alan Poupar will join us in the postgame. We'll have Flo's press conference, the players, all of that will be there for you. So you'll get to hear it, and we'll break it down for you and hopefully talk about a nice win. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. I love you all for being so supportive of our show and downloading it and liking it and all that good stuff. Appreciate it. Remember, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. If you want to make a donation, that's Cash Big O Show. We love you all. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. And you know what we always say, same bat check.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com.